No, there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
Too far, get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast, didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon, rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tottenham Away, the best place to be in town on a post-match day. Welcome. The league is coming home. Ange ball is real. Buckle up. It's all happening, people. As always, I'm joking. Brilliant result for Spurs, 4-1. Very comfortable, as predicted. We'll get into it, of course. Big up to Mari, as always, being on the show. One of our own. Dan Hotspur Hood and Sava Football Heritage. How you doing, guys? All good? Happy?
Yeah.
Can't complain with the score.
I'm just thinking every time I watch the intro, it makes me want to go out clubbing. Like when 3 minutes of sitting here waiting, I feel like, am I about to get battered or am I about to do a football show? I love it. It's great. Good time.
Go back to Malia or Zenti, yeah?
Oh, mate, Malia, those were the days.
We've got a new countdown clock, which we are going to present to you on Monday. And I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Or maybe you'll never watch us again. We'll figure it out on Monday. But big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Put your comments up during the show. We'll try and go through as many comments as we can. If you've got any questions, put your super chats in. Appreciated as always. So, Spurs played West Ham today. We won by 4-1. We had Kulusevski scoring, Basuma scoring, Sonny scoring, and an own goal. Plus, Mohamed Kudus scored a goal, and he also got sent off. Overall, it was a professional performance from Spurs. We dominated the game. We dominated corners, passes, shots, goals, all the attacking stats, and fully deserved win for Tottenham Hotspur. The starting lineup on the day was Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Udogie. No change there, as always. A midfield of Basuma, Madison, Kulu. Basuma came in. Bentancur was on the bench. And then it was Johnson, Slanky, Son. Werner back on the bench. Son, back from his injury, started. Got an assist and scored. And on the bench, we had Dragutin, Gray, Bentancur, Bergvall, Mikey Moore. Richarlison returned. And Werner as well. So, look, before we get into it, we break down the goals, the halftime stats, the red card, the full-time stats, some moments in the game, the subs, and all the bits that come with the game as a whole. Before the game, chaps, I did a video on Monday when we did our predictions. I did a video on No Filter FC, Charlie's channel, on Wednesday. Before the game, I posted a video. Then I did another video with JP. And in each video, I said, for me, Spurs will win 3-1, 4-1, I think 4-1, simply because it's a bottom 10 team and we are perfectly set up to play against teams who are in the bottom 10, because the bottom 10 are in the bottom 10 because they can't defend, they give you space to attack, and they're not clinical enough up front. And I said, having watched West Ham versus Chelsea at the Olympic Stadium, West Ham play just like us, but worse defensively. I think we're going to bury them. If they change their tactics, if they go low block and they play counter-attacking football, then I'm concerned because they've got Paqueta, Bowden, who had a good game, Kudus, who I thought was one of the best players on the pitch until he got sent off. Yeah. And I felt if they adapt, we're in trouble. But I don't think they will, because I think their manager, a bit like Ange, just sticks to his ways. So I'm going for a 4-1 win. Look, it could have been 3-1, it could have been 5-1. It was 4-1 in the end. But the point I was making was proven right. Were you guys kind of thinking along that train of thought as well? Because a lot of fans were predicting a 2-2 draw or a narrow 2-1 win. It's their cup final, so they'll turn up. I didn't think for 1 second we were going to lose to them because they're in the bottom 10, because this is what Ange Ball's about. Where are you at with it, guys? What did you think of the final score as a true reflection of where Spurs are?
I'll go if that's all right. I'll go.
Yeah, go for it, Trevor. Go for it.
Yeah, look, I agree. I thought it would be 3-1. Again, look, a really good performance, second half especially, good performance. And this is Spurs. This is the yo-yo of Spurs still. I fully expect this. We've talked about this so much this season. Anyone who's in that bottom half of the table, I expect we will win, and we will win comfortably. When we play the top half teams, we won't and we don't. And that's where I'm at with it. I see a lot of people already, it's the, in the mud, what are you saying now? Are you still Ange out? Look, the thing for me is I'm not going to judge him on games that we should be winning. I want to judge him on, have we improved as a team when we play proper teams? And so far, when we've played the better teams in the league this season, we have failed. We failed against Brighton. We failed against Newcastle. We failed against Arsenal. So, yes, great win, great performance, really good to get 3 points. For me, it was really important to get 3 points so that we could stay in touch with both Chelsea, Brighton and Villa, because I think they're the 3 teams that we're going to be in that 5th, 6th, 7th shake-up with. 4th if we sort it out. But it was a good win. But for me, that should be run-of-the-mill. That should be par for the course. This is a very disjointed West Ham team. They have not got it together under the new manager yet. It's exactly as I expected. So, look, hats off to Spurs, bounce back. Really important to get the win. But again, we're doing that thing still. Not us on this panel. We're doing that thing again where every time we beat a team we should be beating, everyone starts to, even look at your chat now, title race is back on. We're definitely getting top 4. It's like we don't learn each week. We don't learn. We can't beat the good teams, slap up the poor teams, and then we go, Ange Ball, we're brilliant. Ange Ball for me, I can't believe I'm using that saying. Apologies to everyone on the panel and in the chat. I can't believe I've said it like I'm 12. Ange's style of football for me is set up perfectly to beat these weaker teams. Yeah. And the better teams know how to counter it. I will judge Ange. I will start rating Ange and the team when I start seeing some consistency against the Villas, the Chelseas, the Newcastles, the Arsenals, the Liverpools, the Cities, the Brightons. At the moment, those teams have all got our number, right? When they haven't, I might start changing my mind. But to answer your question in a long-winded way, Stel, thought we'd win. We got more goals than I thought we'd get. And that's what we do. We pick off these teams in 15, 20-minute spells. We bury the game. And that's brilliant. But again, like this comment straight away, Stel, the title challenge is slowly on. It's like, why can't we just say good win? Why does every win mean a title challenge? We're not learning. We're not learning. So, yeah, that's me.
So Mari Dan, after the game, I did my post-match video. And then I thought, I was listening downstairs what was going on in the stadium. And all the fans were doing like this, West Ham, get back. And it was a big celebration. And I thought, we've been here before doing this kind of thing. And where do we end up? And I quickly dropped a video on the channel saying, can we just please learn? Well done, Tottenham. Great win.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised. Maybe other fans were. But I said the same thing. I'm being consistent. When we beat Man United 3-0, I said they were awful. Let's not get carried away. Let's see what happens because we've got some bigger teams coming up. And then we got banged up by Brighton. I'm saying the same thing now. And do you guys agree? And it does align with what Sava said. We've beaten a bottom 10 team. Calm. We've got Villa coming up. We've got City coming up. Let's see then, because those teams look really, really good. Mari, Dan, are you in agreement with this? Or do you think, hold on, we are improving? It's just Brighton was just a stumbling block.
I concur with everything that Sava said. True test. Today, I was saying that I predicted 2-2 because of what West Ham has. And kudos, like I said, I will give credit for the day. And I'm going to get into it. I'll give credit to Ange for today. He made that tactical change. But what I was expecting was a Brighton game because of what West Ham had. And speaking to the West Ham, listen to the West Ham podcasters, and what they're saying is that they're still trying to find an identity, right? I saw the super chat about their signings. You know, sometimes it takes a while for teams to find their identity, whereas Lopetegui is new to West Ham. So right now they're trying to find their identity. If I said Mbappe, who has started slow with Real Madrid, you still rate him? Because he's not immediately kicking off and Real Madrid's not in first, right? So you got to give it time. That's what's wrong about fan base. We're talking about their summer signings. They had a good summer transfer window, but give it time. Calm down. Give it time, and we'll see how West Ham is playing by the end of the year. But in regards to this game, I was listening to Sava's show, and I said to myself, and he said the same exact thing, right? It's almost like a yo-yo, right? Where are these people who say in the mud of seats when we lose? Where are they? But they all seem to come out when we win. So I expect them, every victory and loss, right? Like a yo-yo, we're in the title charge, we're not in the title charge. We're in the title charge, we're out of the title charge. What is it? What is it? Oh, it's a project. When we lose to Brighton, oh, it's top four. It's the league. Like, there's no consistency on the field with our players. There's no consistency with our board. And there's definitely no consistency with our fan base. What is it? What is it? That's why I'm saying be easy. Be calm about things. Well, Fast, well, here's the thing. Some of our signings haven't proven in the past. You're talking about some signings of players who have proven in the past who signed for West Ham. So there's a big difference, just to throw it out fast. But going back to the game and our reaction to the game, there's no consistency with our fan base. It's just like we get all up in the high, and then next week we play Crystal Palace on the road, and if something happens, they go all quiet. Let's have some consistency. Let's have some balance to how we view this team, right? Kudos for Ange for finally not being stubborn, right? For today, right? Let's see him do that in the big game. Let's see it continue. I will give credit where credit's due. And today, I asked Dan on the chat. I said, yo, props to you. You made, at first I thought it was weird, but it was a great move, because they were killing us on the counter, right? Took out Madison. Madison was mad today. He wasn't bad. He wasn't great, but took him out. It was a defensive, tactical move. Let alone it gave Kulu more space. Very smart. I'll give you props, Ange, for that. But that's for today. We need to see it going consistently going on. So, I mean,
Mark, can I just jump in on the thing that I don't understand really quickly? I know you said there about this week it's the title, next week we'll go over the top 4. Where has this title nonsense come from? We haven't challenged for a title in God knows how many years. We can't defend properly, right? We don't beat proper team. Where is it? Because Ange has said there's no reason why we can't challenge? Because I have no idea where this word title comes from, as though we're Arsenal, Liverpool, or City. We're talking like we're one of the big clubs in the country, and I don't know why.
I heard, and I'm not going to say the person's name, another major, I'm talking the biggest, if it's a clue, YouTuber, their channel, I heard the person said, we technically haven't played a bad game all this season. A few here and there, we could be at top of the league. I almost fell out my chair when I heard that. I'm like, are you serious? And this is like the top, if I'm gonna give you a clue, the top most members of the biggest subscriber of Tottenham, if that's a clue to you. Yeah, I can't believe this person. I know he's very super positive, but I was like, bro, you cannot be serious saying that a few hiccups here and there, we could be on top of the league. Where are you getting this?
Mari, let me bring him down on this as well. Dan, I just wanted a quick super chat from Faz. Big up Faz. He says, did West Ham have marquee signings in the summer? Faz, for me, I think West Ham had a very good summer. I think their problem is their manager, and it's why I predicted we'd smash them, because of their manager's tactics and him not adapting. The same criticisms I have for Ange, I totally throw it Lopetegui. I think he's going to cost them, and I think he'll end up losing his job, and they'll have to change him. So, Dan, for you, where are you at with all this? Because again, that little wave of getting carried away, we've turned a corner, we're brilliant again. It happens every time we beat a bottom 10 team.
Of course it does. They're the only team.
What will it take? What will it take, Dan? What will it take for you to actually believe in this process this season? What do you need to see?
On the game today, I must admit, I really did not know what to predict to this one, because for me, it could have gone anywhere. It could have gone 3-1, then 4-1, us, 2-2, 3 or whatever. It was just a game where I could not picture a result on it, because I know both were capable. They've got some very good players on the wings, which is our weakest point. Was definitely worried about Kudus and Bowen on the sides and that, with Porro and Udogie, which one of them did work out for them. But also take this game as indifferent to a couple of the others, because it's a London derby. I find with the London derbies, 9 times out of 10, West Ham always step it up a gear. They usually do with us. Whether they win or lose ain't the point I'm making. It's just they usually step it up a gear for us. And there was a lot of pressure on them today. There was obviously pressure on Ange today. I think we had a good game. I think we had a solid game overall. Couple of players you can definitely bring out on there that made a few mistakes. But overall, it's a game, 4-win. I'm happy. But then it goes to the other side. Okay, that was definitely needed after what we've done in the second half with Brighton, where they just totally schooled us in that second half. And it's until I start seeing consistency that everyone keeps saying that we can actually beat teams, not just teams that we should be beating, but teams that aren't going to be easy to beat. Better teams, like it was said, like Villa. I mean, I'll leave Chelsea out of it because we never beat them anyway. but even just be able to give them a solid game. Not even
Dan,
necessarily.
sorry. I just
solid
want to
game.
add to that. Dan, I'm not criticising. I just want to add. Poch beat Chelsea, and Mourinho beat Chelsea to go to Carabao Cup final. So good managers can beat Chelsea. I know there's a hoodoo on us, but we can beat them. We can beat Chelsea.
I get what you're saying. You're right, but the reason I look on Chelsea is just because it's once in a blue moon that we bloody do it. But for me, I just want to see a solid performance, game in, game out. Obviously, you can't do it every game, but he seems to do something, and then it looks like, yeah, maybe he's actually got an idea. Maybe something might be changing. And then in the second half against Brighton, he stands there and does absolutely nothing until the 78th minute, and everyone's sitting there like, why did you wait so long? What are you doing? But then today, he saw something that I knew Madison weren't playing well, but I thought him taking off Madison at half-time was a bit like, what are you doing, mate? At least wait till 60 minutes. But it turned out to be a very good move by him. And that's what a couple of people have been saying. Make that decision earlier. And to take Madison off at half-time and swap it round a bit, fair play to him. He got that one right when it could have gone very wrong. It's just now he's put a bit of light there. Like, okay, good decision, good result. Now let's see what happens when we play Villa. Now let's see what happens when we play Palace. Now let's see what happens when we play City. Is he still going to have the idea when he needs to change things, or is he just going to go back to standing there doing absolutely nothing? This is where I have no faith in the manager, because he's so back and forth. You can just never really picture what he's all about, because he seems to get one decision right and then everyone backs him up to the bone, basically, like he's got the idea. And then he goes and basically puts everyone on the floor by having another game where he does absolutely nothing right. Until I start seeing consistency out of this fella, I'm still not going to have faith in him. But today, solid result, 4-1. I can't complain.
Gary, I follow you on Twitter. I will send you the link.
I've just put it in the chat. Gary, I've just put it in the chat. Jump on.
He's not coming on. Who are we kidding? I want him to, but who are we kidding? This don't you get this every week still? Oh, come on, I'll rip you a new one. They never do. They're not
coming. Gary, the link's in the chat. The link's in the chat. Make sure your camera's on and you're welcome to come on.
No, Gary's respectful. Gary's respectful, but because I remember him debating Sava, he was the feelings guy. But I follow him on Twitter. So if
who debated me?
Gary, remember he was the same guy that came on your one of your early debate shows.
I don't think that's him, Murray.
I don't think it's him, Murray. I don't think it's the same guy.
It's a different guy.
Oh, it's a different Gary.
Listen, guys, let's not focus on this Gary guy. The chat, the link is in the chat, Gary. If you come on, you come on. If not, then you are what you are.
Okay, that's a different Gary.
Can I point one from what Dan said? Still, can I?
Yeah, of course.
For me, I think the key thing here is look. I'm not turning around and saying that you have to beat every top 6, 7, 8 team in the league. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying sometimes it would be nice. Like when you look today, look at Villa again. Villa go away to Fulham, who have got a really good home record. Bish, bash, bosh, 3-1 win. They've lost one game all season, and that was to Arsenal. That's a manager that I turn around and go, I can get behind you. Look at what you're doing, right? 1 defeat in 8. Right, they're consistent. They beat good teams as well. Right, I'm not saying Ange is the worst manager in the world. For me, though, I don't see that he's doing anything special that another manager couldn't do, and that's where my issue comes from, guys. It's not that I expect him to be winning titles and trophies. It's suddenly this manager who's had a really bad 12 months, he wins a game. Title challenge. He loses a game. Oh, it's not his fault. It's a youth project. It takes time. He wins the next week. Title challenge. The fan base is like that. It is. Last week it was a youth project, right? Yep. I'm sure we'll get into it, but a youth project where none of the youth are actually playing. But last week it's a youth project. Give it time. Faz in the chat. Big up Faz. I love Faz. Faz in the chat said, "Oh." Still made a point about integrating West Ham's players, integrating into the team. And he said, oh, what about giving Ange and his signings time? Who? What signing has Ange made this summer that he's playing? Dominic Solanke, 1. What are we doing? Give him 1 player time to bed in. This is the same 11 as last year, guys. This is the same team we had last year. This team should be well drilled, well oiled. The defensive mistakes that we're seeing game in, game out shouldn't be there. So for me, I just think everyone needs to calm down a little bit. And every time we win a game, the fan base just start attacking each other. Like there's no joy.
Even after the game, Kulu sat there and said on live TV, our defence is not good enough. We need to do some more training on defence. The fact that the players stood there and said that, I think that says a lot.
I actually disagree, Sav. I disagree with you a bit here. I think we need to be beating the top 6 teams very often. And the reason I think that is because when we get to semi-finals and finals, it's the top 6 we're playing. In the latter stages of Europe, it's going to be the top 6 teams of the top European leagues. And if we're ever going to win a league title, we've got to beat them. So I think if we beat them once or twice, we might sneak top 4. But if we're going to challenge for the title, as Ange said, and I always win trophies in my second season, I think we need to really step up massively against these top 6, top 10 sides.
But still, this is the difference. When I'm talking about it, mate, I'm not talking about no title challenge. Like, I think this kind of notion is, right? This notion is that if you criticize anyone, it's, who does come in right now and win? And I'm like, whoa, I'm not even talking about winning titles. I don't think we're anywhere near a title challenge. And my issue with this talk still, and I don't know if anyone else on the panel agrees, is 1 minute, it's not Ange, it's the players. They're not good enough. They're not consistent enough. He hasn't been given who he wants. He needs time. The next game we win, and it's the title challenge is back on. Are the players good enough for a title challenge or are they not? If they are, then don't be making excuses, not you, but don't be making excuses when we lose to Newcastle. Don't be making excuses when we lose to Brighton. Make your minds up. Fans have to make their minds up. I know where my lane is. My lane is, I think Spurs will finish 7th. Is 6th or 5th completely out of the realm? No. Do I think we'll get the top 4? No, I don't, because I don't see us beating the better team still. Yeah. And I think defensively, we've got, I'm sure we'll talk about later, I think we've got 2 players in the back 4 that can't defend for toffee. So that's where my lane is. I just want these people that dig us out weekly to pick a lane and stay in it. Tell me, if I said right now to Danny, what is it you think Spurs are? I expect the same answer from him today as whatever the result is against Palace next week. Not this week he thinks we're going to be mid-table. Next week we beat Palace and he starts to talk about title challenges. It just doesn't add up how wild we are. And, from the pendulum swings every game as to, is it Ange? Is it the players? Are we in a title challenge? Should we be aiming for it? It's madness. Sorry.
This is what we keep talking about.
I'm sorry, Gary, please stay in your lane and keep it clean. Do not accuse anybody from being xenophobic or you will be kicked off. We do not play that.
Can I just say, Ange Postecoglou, isn't he the same nationality as me?
He's half Greek.
He's the same nationality as me.
All right.
Isn't Ange? Aren't Ange and I both half Greek? So if he's beneath me because of his ethnicity,
Gary's just trying to he's just trying to derail the chat. If he says it again, Murray, just block him. Don't even mention it. Just block him.
Yeah,
he's one of those trolls from another channel, probably. I do want to bring up this though. Where is it? That man, what are you expecting? I'm expecting. I don't know about you guys. For my manager to deliver on what he said. Challenge for a league title, he said this year. Win a trophy, he said this year. He's spent more money in 12 months than any manager in the history of the Premier League in 12 months. More than Pep did, Fergie, Klopp, Arteta, any of these managers. He spent 400 million. Oh, except for Chelsea in that 1 billion season. But he spent more than anyone. So if we're not minimum top 4 and winning a trophy, that's what I expect, because that's what my manager's told me. Alex, welcome to the show. How are you doing? I saw you briefly in the stadium. How are you feeling about the game now? You've had a bit of time to think about it a bit more. And what did you think of today's game?
It was a good victory, to be honest, in the second half. I mean, I'm not really going to go too much on the game. The only thing is the question I need to ask at the moment I'm not going to go over what was good about the game because I've said it on Mr. Box Office TV, and I've gave the guy credit for his substitution in the second half. But people still don't say that I give him credit, so that's on them. I can't be asked anymore because Tottenham fans need to hear it twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times until we say, until we have a smile on our face. Get over it. You know what I mean? Move on, and that's it. Move on from that. I just need to speak about one player because everyone's making a big deal about this player, and I don't really get it. It's just I don't really care about stats either, even if it's fact or not, because I don't watch football for stats. I watch football for my eyes. Because if I watch it for my eyes, I wouldn't bother in the first place. Kulusevski, I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it that he gets all this praise and everything else. Because I've got to be honest, Kudus impressed me more. I've got to be honest. He gets me off my seat more than Kulusevski. I've got to be honest with you. And all these stats overhype him so much. I've got to be honest.
He was good today, though, Alex. Kulu was
all right. He was all right. He was all right. No, he's all right.
Really?
He's all right.
I thought he was our best player.
Right. No.
He was our best player today.
No, he's not.
Today,
no, he's not.
Today, no, today he was.
No.
Who was better than him for Spurs?
I think Sarr made a good. I think Sarr was good today. I think Sarr was good.
Sarr was better than Kulu.
Well, for me, it was more Sarr.
Alex, you know I've been very critical of Kulu since last season. I
just don't rate the bloke.
This season,
I really don't rate him.
I
just don't rate him.
Well, today's game.
I think he was okay, but I think for me, he has a lot of frustration for me. And I looked at Kudus, and I just thought he had more effect for West Ham than him. I think he runs about a lot, but I just don't see it. It just isn't clicking with me at the moment. I really don't. I just think there's difference between Kudus and him. Kudus looks like he's just whenever he's on the ball, he's getting past players and he looks like he's dangerous. He just runs around, he does, and he's just like a.
Alex, I agree with you, but what's the correlation between the two players, though? That's what we need to determine for this conversation.
I think Kudus he's got more skill and he's got more about him. He's just got that.
Yeah, no, I know, but why are you matching the two against each other? Like what? They're very different footballers. Why are you?
Well, I don't think they're different because one plays. I thought Kudus was playing in different positions like Kulu today, but when Kudus was on the ball, it's like.
He's a superior footballer.
He has something superior about him. Something that was just like he drops the shoulder and then he just goes past his man and and then loads of players are following him. You know what I mean?
He's a dribbler, Alex. He's a dribbler.
Dribbler, yeah.
Dribbler.
Kulu looks like a dribbler. He tries to be a dribbler, but it just doesn't click for me. And it just looks like he goes down blind alley sometimes.
But today, Alex, today Kulu was good though, man. Like I've criticised.
I think he's good, but I just don't rate him. And people can criticize me all they want and say, "Oh, back it up." I'm like, well, I watched him, and I just do not rate him.
He had a very good game today.
I just can't rate the player.
But I will say,
and you can say whatever you want to me, bro. I respect you, bro, but I just don't rate the player. I just don't rate the player.
I will say this. He's not the fastest player. He's not an athlete. But when I watched the pregame show on Sava, and the people were dissing Bowen, this guy is so intelligent. It's not even funny. The first half, like he should have had 3 assists, but Vicario made 2 great saves. Bowen is a good player. He's intelligent. This guy, his intelligence makes up for his shortcomings. You know, he's shorter, he's slow, but Jared Bowen is good. It's the reason why he got called up to the England national team. Jared Bowen is good. Kudus and Bowen, I thought, was the best players on West Ham.
That's the thing. That's the difference. I was at the game today and I watched the two, and we had a lot of the ball, and yet second half, but it's the first half that summed it up for me about Kulu and Madison, right? Yeah, they worked well before with Man United, but it just was like sideways backwards, trying and playing in front of the West Ham team. And yes, good kudos to him. He works really hard. He worked hard for that goal. Well done. But there was just such a huge difference, and I know it changed in the second half, and I think it's what we've all seen before with Tottenham. When we had the momentum, we won the game because of the momentum, and West Ham just couldn't handle it. And I think that's why Locatelli Lubatelli is not really doing well at the moment. The manager at the moment, West Ham, but I just don't rate the team at the moment, and he's one of them. He's
Alex,
one of them at the moment for me.
Alex, can I tell you what?
I know I'm going to get a lot of
Alex,
abuse, but that's Mr. Box Office. I'll take that all day long. I get.
Alex, hold on. I think I know what you're trying to say, but I don't think this is the right game to say it. Right? This is what I saw sitting there watching it in the stands. For me, hands down, Jared Bowen and Kudus, they start for Tottenham Hotspur. For me, they start for Spurs. Every time they got on the ball, we had problems. They're the only two that caused us problem after problem after problem, and they were instigating everything for West Ham. Kudus as a baller, just someone who balls, is class, man. He was a quality. Just to watch him today, I thought, you should not be at West Ham. What are you doing at West Ham? Every time he got the ball, all you heard fans around me is, how's he got past him? How's he done that? How's he... Guys, because he's fucking good. Right?
Yeah. That's a dribbler.
With Kulu, right? He's got goals in him. He drives us up the field. In the midfield role, he's much better than what he was as a forward wide player.
Agreed.
His one or two touch plays actually really good. I do rate Kulu in this role. However, this is my criticism for Kulu. Brighton, Man United, Newcastle, Arsenal, these games we lose, these big games, he goes missing. These big games, right? He goes missing. So I think what it is with Kulu, why you're not convinced, is because he doesn't do it against in those big games. In these games, Kulu looks great. Whereas Kudus, if you watch Kudus and Bowen in the big games, especially Kudus, he still beats men and time again. Even if West Ham lose, Kudus is still balling, and I think that's what it is. Do you guys kind of agree with that?
I feel it was strong. Go on.
They got beaten 4-1 today, and we're still sitting here talking about how good Kudus was, and he got sent off. That just about says everything.
Yeah.
With Kulusevski, he's finally playing in his proper position. We finally got him in the middle.
Yeah.
To an extent, it almost looks like a new player we got there. He's
I'm not having that.
The middle.
I think he's all right, man.
Better in the middle than on the right.
He is, but against the weaker teams.
That's where I was going to go next. But that's not what I'm
Kulu for me is the embodiment of Spurs. He is the embodiment of Spurs. Against the bottom half teams, he looks superb. I want to see Kulu do the things he did today against Arsenal, against Chelsea, against Villa, against Newcastle, Brighton, City.
Yeah. I want the whole team to do it. But that's not the point I was getting at. The point I was going to go to that bit, but the point I was getting at is he looks like a new player we've got, basically playing in the middle, because we're actually playing into his potential. We're playing into what he's actually good at. And then I was going to go to what you said. But the problem is with him, same as the problem is with basically pretty much every player on that team, that why it's all going good for us, same as the manager, we get it right and we do damage teams. But as soon as it comes up against us and the pressure goes hot and we sort of start shaking, we fall apart, same as nearly every player on the pitch, bar maybe one. And I'd say that's Vicario, who just does his job most of the time, but has a funny moment here and there, no matter how good or bad the game's going. But Kulu is significantly better in the middle than the wing.
I agree with you.
100%.
For me, I think Kulu, I don't rate him as a winger at all. He is not a winger. I've not enjoyed him on the wing for the last couple of years. I think Kulu's a very intelligent footballer. I think technically he's very good. I think he's a little bit one-paced at times, and I think sometimes that might put people off, that he doesn't have that kind of acceleration. Again, I think he's a good player. The problem is, Dan, it's the same thing as always. In this day and age, you can't just say a player's good. They have to be a baller, they have to be excellent, they have to be world-class. I think he's a very good, run-of-the-mill Premier League footballer. I don't think he's going to pull up trees. I don't think he'd be good enough for Man City or for Liverpool or that. But for us, I think he's a good attacking midfielder now. But to kick that on, he's really, really got to take his game to the next level, and he's got to start dominating against the big teams. That's not a criticism. That's the same of anyone. Take Cole Palmer, right? Cole Palmer, right?
That's the point.
That boy played in a really disjointed Chelsea last year. It didn't matter who that boy played. He turned up and he looked different class.
That's the point I'm making, Saba. That is the point I'm making. Sorry to interrupt you. That's what I mean.
He is good, Alex. I think he's a good player. But as usual, our fans have to label people either absolutely shit or absolutely brilliant. For me, Kulu's a good run-of-the-mill Premier League player. He doesn't pull up trees. His stats aren't amazing. They're okay. He's a 1 in 7 goal scorer. And I'm saying that from looking at his career. I've got his career stats right in front of me. He's had 1 year, 5 years ago, where he scored 10 goals in a season. Other than that, he's not consistent with his goal scoring. If he starts doing that, then we go, yeah, he's maturing. But again, let's not put someone on a pedestal until they actually deserve to be on that pedestal. And to Alex's point, the last thing I'll say is, look, Kudus for me is he will not be at West Ham long. Yeah, you know, sometimes you watch a footballer and you go, he's got Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Bayern. He's got the big clubs written all over him. Yeah, naughty boy today, naughty boy, bad temper, slapping people, all that. But as a footballer, he is. Watch him, then watch our wingers. He is.
That's the point. That's the point I'm making. That's the point I make. It's just what I see when I'm at the game. I see a lot when I see at the game. I watch these players, and I can tell. Even Son now, I see Son. He gets me off my seat still because at least I know what I'm going to get with him. You see what I'm saying? Van der Ven, a defender, gets me off the seat because I know when he's making those runs, I'm like, yeah, something might happen. I just don't get it with Kulu. And the way that the stats go, so I'll finish in a minute, Mari. The way that stats are put across with this guy, he's the best thing since sliced bread. He's got the best stats of the Premier League, best stats of Europe. Oh yeah, he's on his way to the top. And I'm like, am I missing something here? Am I actually missing something here?
And this is what I try to tell people. That's nice, Brennan Johnson scoring goals, but he doesn't get me out my seat. Like I was saying, Jermaine Defoe or Gareth Bale. He doesn't do what Kudus does, right? He's the rival. Today, I'm like, oh, damn. Kudus looks. Oh, wow. I'm watching Bowen.
Mari, none of our players do that for us.
I watch him slow,
no Spurs
short,
player does that.
Short Bowen, school Udogie. That first half, he was playing with him. He even went around VDV. I'm like, damn, how old is Bowen? 27, 26? I'm looking at him today. I'm like, my goodness, that's skill, right? With our wingers, I don't see that. We see that sometimes with Sonny. Like today, he did good on the one-on-one, but he's getting older, so we don't see him much more consistent. But today he had his one-on-one moment. But when you see a guy like Kudus, right, it's like, yeah, I want that. I want that. That's what I want for my wingers, you know, like a shiny toy. I want that. And of course, you know, he's going to go to the big clubs. 85 million release clause. Someone's going to pay it. Chelsea, City, Liverpool, you know, not us. So,
Mara, that's 2 weeks in a row, though. We've watched a couple of rival wingers. Like, I know we won today. I'm not saying that, but last week we saw Minte and Mitoma rip our fullbacks apart. First half, Bowen absolutely destroyed not only Udogie, he took Van der Ven to the cleaners. Right, Bowen was excellent, and Kudus just dribbled through all of us. And for me, if Spurs have anything about us, if we want to go and win a league title, I'm not saying now, if we want to go and win a league title, they're the signings I want to see in the summer. I want to see us go to a Brighton and go, what do you want for Mitoma? You want 80 million? Boom, there you go. Spurs mean business. What do you want for Mohamed Kudus? Right? And I know people will go, oh, but they won't send. That's the type of player for me that takes us from here to there. Kulu's good. I think I can't say it again. Kulu's a very good technician of the ball. He's a good footballer. Do I think he's the guy that takes you from there to there? I've seen him for 3 years now, 3.5 years in a Spurs shirt. No, I don't think he is. That doesn't mean I think he's bad. I just think he's that limit at the moment.
I think the
He's
way
not a
to put it
Modric. He's
is,
not a Modric.
would any of those players make it for City, Liverpool,
No.
or Arsenal, or even
But
Villa?
the way that the stats are put across, though, Dan, they think
Any
that
of the
he
ones,
is. They think
any
he
of
is.
the ones up front, any of the players we got up front, or even in
No,
midfield.
definitely not. Because I'll still take West Ham's front three, other than Son.
Basically, the argument we have is Porro, Van der Ven,
Yeah.
and with maybe a few teams, Vicario can answer. As a shot stopper, excellent overall keeper, needs to improve. But I'd say they're our most three solid players.
To coin Mr. Box Office, Vicario is a bang average goalkeeper. Sorry, I'm not having that.
No, shot
and
stoppers,
Porro as
there ain't
well.
any better. Complete
Can I say that
this one is better. Vicario
guys,
is
today at 0-0. Today at 0-0,
No,
Vicario made an unbelievable save to keep it 0-0.
Yeah.
I was right behind.
I'm not doubting, but there's more to goalkeepers than the unbelievable saves.
That's what I'm saying.
The basics of his game worry the crap out of me. When he's got the ball at his feet, any ball that comes into our box, he flaps at. Do you see him midweek for Italy? Have you seen a clip going around about him flapping for Italy?
Yeah, the goalie.
He's decent. He's a decent goalkeeper. He don't get anywhere. He's nowhere near Raya. He's nowhere near Edison.
I agree.
He's nowhere near Allison. Nowhere near those goalkeepers.
But I'm saying he's one of our most solid players, and that just about says it all with what you're saying. As a shot stopper, I don't think there is that many better than him in the Premiership. An out-and-out shot stopper. But as a complete player, Raya is much better than he is. So is Allison. And so is, what's his name? The Villa keeper. I've got his bloody name now. Villa's keeper. They're all significantly better than him as a complete player. I'm only saying with a shot stopper, I think he's brilliant. But the fact that he's about the only other one I can turn to, apart from Porro and Van der Ven, just about says it all.
Even Porro, I've got huge doubts on Porro.
Guys, let's get into the game because I want to get into the goals and the players as well. We might as well go into it. Super chat for me from Bates who says you cannot rate a player and still say they played well, had a good game today. I think he's talking about Kulusevski there.
Yeah.
So look, first half was what we've seen from Spurs most games this season, dominating possession, pinning teams back, no clear-cut chances created, lots of pressure, decent pressing. But you could say maybe against the run of play, although they did have a really good chance where they frighteningly split us open with ease and Vicario made a wonder save. Well, that same thing happened about 5 minutes later. They split us open again. And Jared Bowen causing us problems. Basically made Udogie look like an academy player. Got the ball, squared it back to the byline. Kudus unmarked, buried it into the roof of the net. Vicario really no chance. And that's now 19 games without a clean sheet for Spurs and another setback after a bright start. So what I wanted to ask you about that is because people, they question Bowen and Kudus. Well, one created, one scored. So I'm sorry, there is something about them, even if you disagree. But the question I want to ask you guys, that goal, I don't know how it looked on the TV, but from where I was sitting in the corner of the stands, we just look so disorganized when it comes to defending, when teams do get down the flanks. And I've got to bring it up because it happened all game. I think there's serious question marks about this player now, Udogie.
I've read it since he joined.
Bowen, I felt so bad for Udogie. Bowen was schooling him on that side. I like literally like spinning in circles. And then I had to throw in VDV there. He even went past him too. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. Is Jared Bowen that good? Or those guys, it could be both. Because on that first attempt, he schooled Udogie. Beautiful pass. Of course, great save by Vicario. Great shot by. He did it again. He did it exactly again. And then I'm like, where's Spence? Like, bring Spence on. Like, take out Udogie. Like, he got used in the first half today by Bowen. Got used. I was like, pull him out. Yeah, there's something wrong with Udogie.
Mari, we saw the same thing against Brighton. We saw Udogie have a stinker against Brighton as well. We've seen it a few games this season, but because he's young, because it's give it time, be patient, we've kind of been quiet about it. But today, there were a lot of murmurings in the stands. For the first time, people actually begin to say, mate, get him off. I've not heard fans in the stadium talk like that about Udogie. Now, whether he's match fit, carrying an injury, I don't know. But in terms of performances, mate, he looks suspect. He really does look suspect as a defender.
You're polite.
Even going forward, there's a moment where he ran with the ball and you're saying, release it. He didn't. He went round, right, okay, cross it. And he goes off the pitch with the ball. I'm thinking, mate, what do you actually offer us going forward as a wing back as well? Like, I'm seriously questioning the player. Is he a bit of a myth, guys? Have we overhyped him?
I think we might have overhyped him, but there's a couple of things I need to say about that before the goal. Yeah, we did start well, but from what I saw leading up to that goal, West Ham was starting to get used to us pressing, right? And that accommodating them missing that first chance, and then when we were pressing, right, they were able to get through our press, and that's where they got through that to get that goal because of the skillful plays that we had. You see what I'm saying? I think this is where I think we lose it. You see what I'm saying? I think when we lose that momentum, if we don't score in that period, right, we do feel lost. You see what I'm saying? This is where I say that we've got no composure in the team. You see what I'm saying? And it's then we have to get that composure back to get the goals, like we'll talk about later on. But I think the more worrying thing for me is that we do feel lost when we're having this momentous moment, like especially early in the first half when we're like pressing and stuff. If a team who's got more composure than us can beat the press, this is where the problem was. And I think they just got used to it. You see what I'm saying? And then they started playing through us. And there's a couple of times in that first half they were playing through us, through our press, and that was it. Because they just thought, well, this is easy. We're getting used to this now. They're just pressing us and just using up all their energy. We just need to be more composed, put half our way through it, and just get Kudus on the left or Bowen on the right or whatever their positions they were. And then we can just get ahead of them, and that's it. I think that's what happened in that goal for me. I don't know if anybody agrees with me or anything like that.
I just think I said this all last year. Again, we talked about this at the beginning of the stream. When a player comes to Spurs, we christen them as the greatest thing since sliced bread. Destiny Udogie, for me, I said it all last season. Defensively, he is shambolic. I'm not being rude. I don't think he's a fullback. This guy is not a left back.
He's a wing back.
He is not trained defensively. His body shape. Still, you're a coach. You watch him every time he's up against a defender. His body shape is all wrong. He's square onto the man rather than side on. He doesn't show them on the outside. And what's worse than all of that for me with Udogie, and again, I feel sorry for him because he's not a left back. That ball that came in from Kudus for the goal, you know, the ball that he played right to the back post, that happened again in the second half. Udogie, a proper defender, is switched on. They know who's around them, how far away, where I need to jump, where I need to. Udogie is so unaware of his surroundings. That ball came all the way across, and Bowen had time to bring the ball down. He actually miscontrolled it. If you watch the goal back, he had time to miscontrol it, win it back, then roast Udogie again. I just don't think he's a defender. And the problem is, that's all well and good when you're playing West Ham, who are a bit disjointed at the moment. But you saw Fatawu ripped Udogie a new one in the first game of the season. Last week, Minte ripped Udogie a new one. Today, ripped a new one.
Do you remember Danny Rose, right? Do you remember Danny Rose? One thing Danny Rose did so well was he'd get back quick, or he'd shut down the man quick, decelerate, and then once he was there, he knew how to tackle and when to tackle. And that's defending. It's shutting down the space and then either putting a block, a tackle, or ushering them away. I just find Udogie, the art of tackling, he doesn't quite have it, and I don't think he reads what the player's going to do. Whereas Danny Rose, he wouldn't give you time to make the move. Danny would make the move first and win the ball off you. And I just feel that that's defending. I don't think he's a good defender.
But that needs to be coached. When you look at our back four,
It does need
as
to
a
be
whole,
coached. It does,
you said it for the goal. The thing is, the goal highlighted it, but we just talked about the Vicario save. That was an exact replica where our defence, you know, like when you used to watch Adams, but I hate to say it, but that Arsenal back four was tremendous, wasn't it? You know, they had Adams, Bold, Winterburn, and Dixon. They were in a form.
They were drilled.
They all knew what to do. You watch a ball come into our box, it's almost like the back four.
It's all over the place.
They're all over the place. And I don't know if any of you noticed this. I'm sure you have. When you actually watch Van der Ven is being pulled so far away from his actual duties as a centre-back because Udogie isn't a left-back. He's never actually in the left-back position.
I said this all last season. You're right.
Crazy. He's doing two jobs.
The thing is,
and that's why he's going to get. That's why he's risk getting injuries and hamstrings. That's why.
The thing is, how do I put this? It's all good result today, and we do see some good football with Angie's style, yeah. But there is never any focus from him on the defence, and even Kulu said it today. You can see that. So the way I see this is, I'm just trying to work out how to say this properly.
Dan, we don't spend enough time coaching defending. I've said it so many streams. We spend 80% of training on attack and possession, 20% of defending. You can see it. You can see it when we play.
A lot of people, they always go on about he plays beautiful football or something. Well, you can tell Angie plays beautiful football as much as he wants, or he plays good, exciting, attacking football. But don't worry about the defence. It'll never be a problem. We'll score more goals. That's like telling someone who's got extreme eating issues and is well above what they should be, don't worry about it. You're beautiful. Diabetes will never come to you and affect you in your life. It will. It's a problem that will come up if you don't fix it. I don't know how to put it. It is. It's just like saying it's beautiful. Don't worry. It won't affect you what happens. But it will. And the defence gets us every time. I don't really know how else to put it with him.
Well, look, we did bounce back, guys. We did bounce back, and about 15 minutes later, a West Ham counter-attack broke down. A long run from Madison, teed up Kulusevski, who cuts inside, aims for the near post, hit the post. Arilla did get a hand to it, but it came off one post, triggered across the goal line, hit the other post, and went in. Look, Sky Sports said the goalie should have done better, but look, it was a good strike from Kulu. And all you ask for someone that strikes the ball is aim for the corners, bottom corners, top corners. Kulu did do that, and it ended up as a equalizer. I personally think the equalizer was more than deserved. And going in at half time, I thought Spurs maybe should have been going in by goal lead. But did you think at half time 1-1 was a fair reflection of the game? And what did you think of Kulu's goal as well?
I think Kulu deserved the goal because he was very busy. I think it was interesting that most of the, I mean, we're going to go on to the other goals as well, but it's interesting the goals were more counter-attacking style for me, right? Us counter-attacking on West Ham's breaks, and that was it. So it might give Andrew a bit of a message there, a little bit of a hint there. But yeah, for me, he worked hard for the goal, I say. You know what I mean? He used a lot of endeavour, I say. But I think it's more the goalkeeper should have saved that, to be honest with you. Because when I was at the stadium, I didn't really think that we didn't even think it was a goal, but it just trickled in the back of the net. So because I was on the south stand. So, but yeah, well done to him. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Do you think Madison's getting enough credit? Like for that goal?
I think Madison did well to get the ball back.
Madison did excellently for the goal, and then all I heard at half time was Madison's being poor. Well, Madison made the goal. Madison made the drive from the halfway line into the final third. Gave it to
Savage. You know what it is, and I heard it in the stands again. People were saying change Madison, and I turned around to the guy behind me and said, who do you bring on that can create then? Who do we bring on? And he said, well, give Bergvall a chance. He said, but when do we ever do that in a Premier League game? He's not going to do it. If you take off Madison, you're going to have to bring on a player that's either more central or defensive and push Kulu further up, which is kind of what I think he did when he brought on Sarr. But I think Madison does get unfair criticism. But you know what? Do you believe that Madison gets the criticism because he doesn't look like a flair player? Do you think, and because of that, he doesn't stand out on the eye?
I think if you actually watch Madison still, right, first of all, I think he works so hard, which is rare for attacking playmakers, so to speak. His new role, he's working so hard, dropping back and helping out in the midfield. I think that gets overlooked. But do you know that James Madison has got them? If we're going to go by the GA crew, James Madison's got the highest GA of any Spurs player this season in the Premier League. And yet every game I hear Madison this, Madison's poor. Like I keep hearing, Kulu's amazing in the middle. Kulu's amazing. Madison's the one creating. Madison's also scoring, but Madison's the one that keeps getting the hate. And for me, I don't quite get it. He's scoring, he's assisting, he's working hard. Playmakers aren't going to be brilliant every game. They're just simply not. Some games they're more involved in. But I think he's getting I think Madison's getting a lot of unwarranted hate. And his stats are good. He's got 5 goal contributions in 8 Premier League games. If you average that out over a season, that's a hell of a lot. That's a hell of a lot over a season. So I don't know why the hate, but not hate, that's probably the wrong word. I don't know why the over-egged criticism of Madison, but yet the overhyping of Kulu. What's Kulu done that Madison hasn't?
I think Kulu's. For me, the only thing for me I don't like about Madison, and that's not his fault, is because of the system. I like Madison more up in the final third. I'd rather him just not come deep, because when he's coming deep, I can see him struggling, getting frustrated. Sava, I just like him up there.
Agree.
I'd rather him and even have him on the left sometimes. You know what I mean? Cutting in sometimes, because I think he revels in that sort of thing, and then you'll see the best of Madison. You see what I'm saying? But I do agree with you, because I don't, like I said, I spoke about Kulu earlier. I think Kulu gets a lot of overhype, and Madison does get a little criticism. I think at the moment it's just the way that Ange plays him. He comes deep. He works a lot. He does work very hard.
Alex, the question I'm asking: what is Kulu doing that Madison isn't?
I don't know. Like I said earlier, I
get
don't know.
what you're saying. I think the difference is Kulu is standing out more because he's playing better. I think that's why people are noticing it more.
What, Dan? What? What's he doing better?
No, Kulu is playing better in the middle than he is on the right, and it shows. Yeah, that's why people are looking at Kulu. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not saying he's better than Madison at it.
And then when it comes to Madison, because he's the vice captain and he is the one who will make a comment after the game and before the game, I think it's like Kane and like Sonny, they expect more. And like Dan said, because wow, Kulu is playing better in the middle than out in the wing, so it seems like okay, Kulu.
That's why he's getting noticed. Yeah. My problem with Madison is, I mean, I've had this chat with Dietrich and a couple of others. Is I think Madison is just like the rest of that team. When it's all going sweet, he looks the dog's bollocks. When it's going rough, he seems to disappear just like the rest of them.
Sure.
The other problem I've got with Madison is there's many a time where he's got a chance and he should just do that direct ball. He don't. He seems to want to do everything so it looks pretty. He'll take an extra 2-3 touches to make it look like a good cross he's put in, a pretty cross. There's many a time where I think he could just pass the ball there and then. At times, that's what he seems he does. But he's a good playmaker, and a lot of the time does his job. But with what you said about him and Kulu's only standing out because he's playing better in the position.
I think he does help. He has helped Madison as well get up the pitch. But recently, I've not seen, especially in that second half against Brighton and today, I still saw Madison coming deep again, which I thought was good. Kulu was stopping him doing that, like because he was doing more of the work in the middle, bring the ball forward, and and Madison would be more up the pitch. I was seeing that like against Everton, I think Man United as well. And you saw the best of Madison because he's in that final third. But I think that's why
what I mean.
Kulu
He's being asked. He's being asked.
That's why Kulu gets the praise. I think that's why Kulu gets the praise because he's helping Madison because they're working really well. But today, I didn't see that with Kulu today, and that's why I was a bit. Yeah, go on.
Again, I mean, like it's things like that. Alpesh just put a comment saying if he didn't come off second half, we wouldn't have won today. I mean, first of all, no one's got any way of knowing that at all. I'm sorry, no one can turn around and go, if Madison had come out second half, we don't win. Right? You could say, well, if it wasn't for Madison, we wouldn't have gone in at halftime 1-1. Like the positive got overlooked. For me, this new formula, which again I think works brilliantly against the bottom half teams of playing either Bentancur or Basuma with Madison and Kulu. What it means is one of them, and it's tending to be Madison more. Madison's having to stop being a playmaker, and he's dropping deep. He's working hard. He's tackling back. Let's be fair. Madison at Leicester City didn't have to do this because at Leicester City he had Tielemans and Wilfred and Ndidi behind him that did the DM and the box-to-box midfield role. Now at Spurs, we're so open in the middle that Madison's having to come back and do a lot of the hard work. So when you actually look at Madison now, a lot of it is not him receiving the ball where a number 10 does. It's picking the ball up where a number 6 does and driving forward with the football. But
and that's
my
not his
point
game.
is this. Why is it people are looking and going, Kulu's magnificent, he's been the best midfielder this year in the Premier League. Don't know what that means. But Madison, he needs to get more consistent. Madison's scoring, he's assisting, he's tackling back and working hard. What is it that Madison's not doing? I don't get it. I feel like he's been.
What you're sort of saying is that Madison's having to do what Harry Kane used to have to do, but he's not as good at it, basically.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
It's on him, and so now what will be a good performance, but we're expecting spectacular because of the rest of the talent that's surrounding Madison. So it's more of a pressure. The best way I can explain it is that there's definitely more pressure on Madison to produce more than he has than last season because he is, like I said, he's the vice captain. He's one of the faces other than Sonny that whenever you see Spurs, he's there. And so when he in big games, right, where no one shows up, he's going to get the heat more than Kulu, like the Arsenal. Some of the first people who got called out. Even I called them out because in those big games, right, the pressure's more on them. Whereas Kulu, where we were like, oh, he's shit at winger. Now Ange, right, makes this new revelation. I'm going to put him in the middle. Now he's producing. So now everybody is, praising Kulu, but then they're still putting that pressure, criticism on Matt.
But the thing is, can I just say one thing really quickly? Sorry. I mean, I don't know if I think I've got a magic microphone that when I talk into it, I start speaking German or French or something. Because I've got people in the chat saying, oh, Sava blast Kulu, but backs Madison. I didn't blast Kulu. I said Kulu's a very good footballer, did I not?
Yeah,
I said Kulu's a very good footballer for me. I just don't think he's at that level. I then stick up for James Madison, who is our top GA, right, this season, and you get knocked for it. And just one last thing, sorry, before we move on still. Swanix in the chat, sorry, he's commenting at 11:11 saying, if GA can't be taken as credit for Brennan, we can't then use it as a reason why Madison gets credit. I think there's a huge difference. Right? There's a huge difference. Brennan Johnson, right, when he's not scoring, doesn't offer anything. We saw that today. When he doesn't score a goal, he doesn't offer anything. And
he was crap today. Johnson was shit today.
I said this to you guys before the show started, right? Brennan Johnson played the same today that he did in the last few games. The only difference is this week he didn't score a goal, right? The difference is James Madison, when he's not getting goals or assists, is still working his backside off in midfield, trying to create, tackling back. So they're playing completely different positions on the pitch. But I just don't get the hate for James.
I
Madison.
love it.
I
love this. I love this.
Well, do you know what? Let's look at the halftime. Let's look at the halftime stats before Madison was taken off. Okay, so at halftime, so this was stats that include Madison being on the pitch. We had 62% possession. We had 12 shots compared to 5 on target compared to 3. We had at least 50% more passes than West Ham, and 12 corners compared to 2. We had double the XG, 0.99 compared to 0.42. We had 26 touches in the opposition box compared to 9. So if you look at all the attacking stats that you'd expect from the attacking players to give you, we were far better than West Ham. That was with Madison. So you could put an argument forward saying, well, if Madison stayed on, the second and third goal was coming anyway, because those stats are all going in a positive direction. Of course, we don't know what would have happened if Madison stayed on. We can only say what happened when he came off. But if you look at the data, with Madison in that number 10 role, it's all positive compared to West Ham.
Agree.
So,
I
agree. You know,
what was mentioned on the NBC telecast, Peacock telecast, and even Terry mentioned when they took out Madison, right? Automatically think, okay, it's leaving more room for Kulu, but actually, what you saw from West Ham, their counter attack was also coming along, and so putting in Saw in was, like I said, the extra defensive help with Basuma to kind of slow down West Ham. Though West Ham still had some opportunities, but and that's why he's getting praised today for making that hard move of taking out Madison, which you could see he was fuming from the bench because he pulled out, and we got pulled out. So, you know, yes, we would probably have more attempts, but defensively would have made us even more open. You know, so I mean, take it for what it is.
yeah. The thing is, we don't know the true reason why Ange took off Madison. He might have had a knock. He might be tired. Then it might have been tactical.
It was a tactical reason.
You know what?
It was tactical reasons.
It was tactical reasons. Yeah, but it wasn't a knock. It was tactical.
Has Ange said that though? Has Ange said that? Was he asked?
Yeah, I think he did say that. Yeah, I think he did say that.
We think or we know. We think or we know.
I think I saw something saying that he said tactical reasons. Yeah.
Yeah,
They said it during the game at the start of the second half, but how serious can you take it?
Because Madison always seems to be the guy that comes off. If you've noticed, Madison always seems to be the guy that comes off.
I think that's an injury concern. I think it's because he gets injured a lot, right?
He's fragile. He's very fragile.
I don't think so today. That's the reason why I'm giving the credit to, only for today, I'm giving credit to Ange because
I have gave him credit. I have gave him credit because it did work out for him at the end of the day. It did work out because I think he taken him off on the fact that Kudus was getting too much of the ball, and then he put Sarr on Kudus.
Yeah,
and that was the reason for it. It was a bold substitution as well as a risk. Because if it didn't work out, people would point to that substitution. Why you take
credit today? I mean, every week, rightly so, justly so, we have to criticize Ange, but he gave that comment, in the interview, and then today, I don't know if he was trying to wind up, the fan base, who were upset, me being included, upset with his comments. It was like, okay, I'll show you something. I'll take off Madison and do a defensive tactic today. There you go. Well, great. If you did that against Brighton, we would have had the 3 points.
Surely all those praising his tactical decision this week. are the same people that were saying last week they trust Ange and he shouldn't have made a substitution. He didn't do anything wrong. The two things can't both be true, right?
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly. It's hypocrites.
This is what I was saying with earlier.
He's a hypocrite.
We've got to see this regular that he does it. We see it against Brighton where he does absolutely nothing, but then he does subs today, gets it right, and then what's he going to do in the next 2 or 3 games? This is why I just still can't get faith in him, because I just really don't know whether he's coming or going off.
Dan,
There's moments it looks like he can, and moments he don't.
The reason it worked is because exactly what I said before the game. The reason we'll win 4-1 is because I believe Lopetegui will not change his tactics. At 1-1, even at 1-0, if he went all full on David Moyes Mourinho, dropped, shut shop on us, we were in trouble. But he didn't. He still tried to play, and we ate them alive. And this is why I was confident today, because I've watched enough of West Ham this season to see Lopetegui. He never adapts. He's similar to Ange. And that's why when Ange did make that one tweak, it was game on. And do you know what? I actually praise Ange for that. I actually praise him for making that tactical change. If it's tactical, I praise him, because I don't know whether it would have worked with or without Madison. But what I do know is we did win. So I'll give him credit. I'm not.
No, it's just the 3 goals were all counter-attacking goals.
Well, look, the goals came. We scored. Look, the second half began. And we scored 3 quick goals. The first goal came on the 53rd minute.
Really good team
good
goal.
play from Spurs. Yeah, it was a really good a team goal, and a solid finish from Basuma, scoring his second goal of the season for us. 2 minutes later, look, West Ham were beginning to wobble because they'd blown a 1-0 lead, 2-1. They began to wobble, and we put the pressure on them. This time, the goalie fumbled a shot, Son shot. The goalie probably should have saved it, fumbled off the defender, hit the goalie, trickled in, own goal. At that point, you felt West Ham were done. They're not going to score 2 goals. And then 5 minutes later, good counter-attack. The ball got played to Son. Son, one defender, did a triple step over, bought himself some space, near post. Maybe the goalie could have saved it, but the shot was spot on. Typical Son goal. And at 4-1, you just knew, listen, it's done. West Ham were never going to come back from 3-1, let alone 4-1. They were dead and buried. But what did you make of that quick blitz from Spurs, that 7-minute blitz where we just bang, 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 3 goals? You know, that was pretty impressive from us.
The thing I liked was the 3rd goal. After the 3rd goal, it actually looked like we sat back a little bit and said, well, we're 3-1 up. Come on in. And we got them on a counter-attack. Yep. And that is what we should have done against Brighton when it went to 2-1 as such, maybe. Sit back a bit, get control of the game, and then take it to them again. But yeah, when it went 3-1, I felt we came back 5 or 10 yards, kept control of what we could, whatever, and then caught them on the counter because they had to come at us all guns blazing. They had no other option. And we got them on a counter. Again, this is what I mean by I want to see Ange be able to do things like this regular. Know when to defend. Know when to attack, because it's not all just about attack. And again, you're looking at it from a positive side today because he got it right. But then what's going to happen the next time we're in a situation and he does absolutely nothing till the 80th minute and it goes all tits up again? Because we all know it's going to happen again. Again, this is where I just can't get faith in the bloke because I don't know whether he's coming or going half time.
I think you can't take it. I don't think you can take it too much from this game though, because we did the same things that we've done before. When the momentum was up, we capitalized on the momentum. Today we capitalized on the momentum. You see what I'm saying? And West Ham completely capitulated because the manager, like Still says, was trying to get back into the game. So the best thing is that we came back and played on the counter. So that's why I said
that's not Ange's style, Alex.
Yeah,
Ange's usually go all out for it.
Yeah,
he actually brought
that's
them
the
back
point
today.
I'm making, though. I know it wasn't, but it just ended up being like that. It ended up being like that, and it might go back to your point, Dan, saying, "Well, why don't you just, play a more style of play where you've got play the same style, but maybe play more counter attacking with the wing backs? Maybe that would have been maybe better." You see what I'm saying? Because we were playing like that. We were playing a counter attacking sort of game against them for the 3 goals. Let's be honest, you know what I mean? But it is what we have been doing the last year or so. we had the momentum. This time round, though, we capitalised on it. You see what I'm saying? Because we had killers in our team, like Son. You see what I'm saying? Kulusevski was on his game a little bit. You see what I'm saying? For the goal. And to be fair to Bentancur, it was Basuma, it was a good goal. The second goal, it was a good goal. You see?
One of his better games as well.
But West Ham could have just crumbled because of the way that their style of play. And that was it. You see what I'm saying?
My mate was there, a West Ham season ticket holder. And he messaged me after the game and he said, you know what, Save? He said, I don't get it. He said, I thought first half, he said, I thought we got the tactics by we. He's talking about West Ham. He said, I thought we got the tactics spot on. We didn't, you had a lot of the football, but other than the Sun chance, you didn't really have many clear-cut chances. And he said, I was really surprised. Second half, we came out. You could see we pushed up a little bit more.
We had zero clear-cut chances the whole game. Same as West Ham.
Yeah.
I get that. But what I'm saying is, the West Ham fan, he was saying that around him, they couldn't believe it. They thought, okay, we've had a really good first half. We've nullified Spurs, right? Everyone was defending brilliant. Todibo, Wan-Bissaka, I thought was brilliant. I thought Wan-Bissaka, as a defensive fullback, I don't think there's many better in the Premier League. That boy can tackle. He should come and teach
a fullback, not a wing back.
Tackle, right?
I agree.
But then at half time, you could see they visibly stepped up a little bit. And as soon as they did, said on my stream, said they're going to regret that. West Ham will regret that because that's what we like. We like that ball in behind. And once they stepped up and they gave us space, and it was the opposite still to last week against Brighton. If you look at Brighton, they did it the other way around. Brighton in the first half gave us loads of space in behind.
Yeah.
And we punished them. Second half, Herzler, I think that's how you say his name, he actually dropped their back four, and basically said, like, there's no room in behind. That's why the West Ham fans were a little bit like, hang on, we were competing, we were in it, the tactic was working, and then they did basically what we did last week. They capitulated. But as I've said, we're going to win these games. We're going to win these games. I'm not knocking it. It's brilliant to beat West Ham. But what I can't do, I can't sit here after every time we beat a bottom half team and start changing. Oh, Andrew's learned. And we'll see if Andrew's learned when we play the better team. We'll see if Andrew's learned. Next time we've got a 2-0 lead, get back to 2-2 and you're thinking, right, now change it. Not when you're 1-0 at home to West Ham who aren't attacking. That's great making the tactical change today when we're not losing at home. When you're away at Brighton and things are not going right, his answer was substitutions don't mean anything to me. Right? Yeah. This week, everyone wants to praise him for his substitution. Again,
he sort of contradicted himself.
Right. So which one is it?
That is what I'm saying. I don't know whether he's coming or going, I've seen him good.
The answer is easy.
I don't know.
The answer is easy. It hasn't changed my mind today's game. I said this on Mr. SFD because the thing is, though, like I said before, the 4-1, the 3 goals that we got after half time was momentum, right? Okay, so there was no momentum change in the second half because we had the momentum and we won the game because of that. Again, when it comes down to composure, when it comes down to things going wrong in that second half, because the team can get back because they're clever and they're not stupid, right? Then we'll see whether we've learned, and that's it. And we're not going to learn a lot until like January, maybe even like until March, and that's it. It's not going to. We just got to see a long stint of this, and that's it for me. But again, I'll look at it again. There's reasons why I keep on saying I look at some of West Ham's team players, and I sit there and think, I'd rather have some of those players than some of our players at the moment because I still think some of our players are not good enough. And that's it.
In the next month or so, we've got City twice, Villa, Galatasaray, Roma, right? Yeah, Let's see how we've... Yeah, but I'm talking about teams that aren't in the bottom half, Dan. That's my point here, right? Yeah. Palace away, that is a game we should be winning. We should be beating Crystal Palace, who haven't won a game all season or have won one game or whatever. For me... Let's see when we play those City twice, Villa, Galatasaray, Roma. You know what? If we get really positive results against those 5 teams, I'm not saying we can't drop one of them, but if we get really positive results, I'll turn around and go, cool, the guy's learning.
Yeah,
But
cool.
if
No,
we
I
don't,
agree.
if we don't,
It's
we're
back
just
to
flat
square
track
one, isn't
bullies.
it?
Yeah.
Guys,
Two
I'm
steps
going to be a
forward,
bit
3
harsh
steps
here.
back.
I'll be a bit harsh. That's not going to convince me at all if we get a couple of good results against those teams, because I've been saying this all season. Right, show me against this team, we don't do it. Show me against this team, we don't do it. Show me against this team, we don't do it. If he goes and wins 2-3 games, for me, I'm going to be like, nope. I want to see us win a trophy this year or be in a title challenge, because that's what you told me. That's what's going to make me convinced that something's actually progressing at this club. Because if we finish top 6, 7 and we kind of fumble a cup again, I'm going to be, well, hold on a minute. Where's the progress? What have I sat here watching all season long? So maybe I'm a bit more harsh than you
Forget
guys.
him,
But
Estelle. For you, forget him. Forget his words. For you, do you not personally feel it will be progression if we beat Man City in one of the games, we go away to Galatasaray and win, we beat Roma? They're the games for me where I'll turn around and go, all right, we're competing against better teams now.
Okay, the thing is, Sava, if Pep fields a B team, that kind of diminishes that argument for me. Galatasaray, that doesn't wow me. They're not a wow team. That's more of a mentality thing. If the young kids play to go to a hostile,
that's one of the hardest places to go to and play them.
And
like
Roma,
you said, it's more the mentality.
Okay,
Galatasaray ain't easy.
Yeah, it's psychological. It's the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Roma are not doing well this season. Roma sacked their manager already.
No.
They're not doing well.
Yeah.
So I don't look at Roma and think this is a tough game. I think, look, they're going to test us more than the rest. Yes. But again, if we put out a B team, Sava, I can't really judge us. I want to see what we do against a full strength City, a full strength Chelsea, a full strength Villa. Because when I've seen us play a full strength Arsenal, a full strength Newcastle, a full strength Brighton, we've come unstuck.
Sure, but we've got one league game against City, if I'm not wrong. One of the two games against City is the league game, and Aston Villa's a league game. So, all right, still, let me change the question.
The league game, yes. Sava, the league game against City, yeah. The league game against City,
forget Galatasaray, forget Roma, and forget the City League Cup game. City in the league, which is away. Is that right?
Yeah, away, yeah.
City away, Villa at home. If Tottenham go and get 4 points from that 6, I'll turn around and go, okay, positive. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to turn around and go title challenge, but I will say, hats off. Yeah, fair play, positive. Can we keep that up? Yeah. If we lose to Villa, if we then lose to Man City as well, both those league games, again, it will be the same pattern. Beat the bottom half teams.
3 back.
Right. And that's the difficulty for me still is, I don't think people understand. We're not just be happy we beat West Ham. I'm happy we beat West Ham, but it's the absolute hyperbole that comes with it. It's the title race is back on track. What title race?
No, it's just a lot of people seem to think you can only look at the positive side, yeah? Now, I don't know about you, but if you read Alex Ferguson's autobiography, the first one he done, I've read that twice. One thing he makes clearly stated in there is that he never really used to praise the players when they had a good game, even if they won it 5-1. As soon as they get in the dressing room, he'd slam on them for the goal they let in and where they made the mistakes. Now, I get you see both sides, the positive, negative sides, but if you don't look at the negative sides and where they need fixing, you're never going to get better. And a lot of people seem to think you can only look at the good sides and you have to push out the other side. 4-1 today, great result, but we need to get grilled, and Udogie needs to get grilled because that was still a screw up that was made. But some people think you should just ignore that and only mention that we won the game 4-1. Well, if you want to get better, you've got to look at what you're not good at. And a lot of people just don't want to see the other side.
But Dan, it frustrates me because I predicted 4-1 on the basis of how I've seen West Ham defend and their manager's inability to adapt, right? So I'm not at all blown away by anything today. And these games coming up, Nuno, Poch, Mourinho, Conte, they've all beaten City. So if we go and get this freak result against City, I'm going to say, do you know what? We kind of do this once in a while. I need to see more than that. If we beat Villa, for me, it's going to be a case of at some point we have to beat a top 10 team. I get what you guys are saying. I need to see a lot more than that. If we consistently do that, then I'll say, right, something's happening here, guys. Because what I saw today against a bang average West Ham team was Brennan Johnson going missing, Timo Werner being the same shit self he is, Solanke not being a striker, and I said it when we signed him, he's an average striker, but he links up play, but he's not going to put the ball in the back of the net. And I just don't have the confidence in the players we've signed that against these top 10 teams, even if Ange does make a good tactical decision, we've got what it takes. If he does it against these teams consistently, then I'll say, right, I need to take a step back from this because Ange is seriously proving me wrong now. So I hear what you guys are saying. I don't disagree with you lot, but personally, as a fan, I need to see a lot more than just 4 points against City and Villa. But I would maybe say, do you know what? This could be a good starting point. But Ange, please keep this up now because
I totally get what you're saying.
I don't buy it.
What you're basically saying is, the way I see it is, the way I think everybody's looking at it is, if we get 4 points out of them 2 games, it's a step in the right direction. But then I need to see it consistently for another 10 games where we can lose or draw a game, but consistently play well and get a majority of points out of it. Then we can say we're definitely going forward. But it's going to take more than 2 good results to totally change your mind. It's a step in the right direction, but like we've done many a time, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
Go on a 10-game run.
Go further. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Go on a 10-game run. Win 8
think
games, draw 2, and then I'll say, right, there's some momentum here. Go on a 10-game run.
I think you're going to learn about our team until January anyway, because we're going to be in Europe until January. So you know what I mean. And we've got some hard games coming up through that time period anyway, through the Premier League and Carabao Cup if we get through that as well, and then we're going to have FA Cup added to that as well. So I think we're going to see how strong our squad is going to be from there. You see what I'm saying? I feel we got too many. Like I say, I still feel the same way that I felt against Brighton and the whole season. I don't think the squad's good enough. And I don't think we play. I don't feel we play great football. I don't get over my seat about it either. And I just think like I say, when things go wrong, the composure of the team, the leadership of the team just goes downhill. And I think the arrogance of the team, there's no really arrogance of the team, which for me are the 3 things that get you to do big things. You see what I'm saying? And I think there are teams out there that have got it in their team. I even look at Aston Villa now. Because they've even got a striker that's on their bench that is better than most of our strikers right now. That's embarrassing. You know what I'm talking about.
Villa I was told Villa had a terrible summer. I was told that Villa, oh my God, who have they signed? What have they done? Villa are a top team. Don't mix that, guys. In the 2 years,
Villa are good.
In the 2 years that Unai Emery has been at Aston Villa, they've not done what we've done under Ange. They've not done that. They've done that. Aston Villa have been in the top 4 of the form table for 24 months solid.
They literally made mincemeat at Bayern Munich, right?
They're a very good team. They're a well-organised team, Alex.
Yeah,
and Emery, this is the difference. Unai Emery last week against Brighton doesn't lose that game. Unai Emery against Brighton doesn't lose that game. He would have made the change. He wouldn't lose it. And for me, look, I think still, can I just go back to a point you made there about beating these teams? And you said like Nuno and Conte and Jose, they all beat City, right? For me, I think what we'll be telling is, can we beat City playing this style of football? Because if you look, Nuno, Conte, Jose all beat City by saying, go on, City, have 80% of the ball. We're going to stick 10 men behind it and we're just going to go with Son and Kane on the counter-attack. And that's fine. I'm not knocking that. That's how teams beat City. There's a huge difference. If Spurs can play Man City, go toe-to-toe with them football-wise, play this open game we do and not get hurt at the back, then I'll turn around and go, fair play. Yeah. But the problem is, City love playing teams like us. City they don't like playing the Spurs under Conte and Jose.
Nope. Yeah. That's why we were their bogey team, isn't it?
Right. They love playing this Spurs team. And you remember the game at White Hart Lane in the FA Cup last year? Man City just had chance after chance after chance after chance. and I don't think it will be any different today. Any different this year in when we play Man City, especially at the Etihad.
This is where we see the difference between a good manager, a very good manager, or just even a good manager, and an okay manager. Even Arteta knows when to go into a game, like against Spurs, against City. He knows exactly what we're good at and exactly what we're poor at. So what does he do? He doesn't just have a plan B. He totally changes the whole system to match who he's going against. Arsenal went all out defence with us when really, player for player, they could have cooked us really, but they knew that was our strong point. So they brought everything back and just waited for their chance on the counter, and they took it. And they also did it with City. Do I see Ange capable of doing that? No, I don't. Ow. No, I don't see it.
That hit me as well. That hit me hard.
Yeah, I've got AirPods on, mate. That just hurt.
Is that Alex? Is that big grin? Is that you, Alex?
No, that's not me. I've got it silent.
My dog, Stel, my dog's in the basket. That noise went, and my dog went.
Alex, look at that smile. Look at that smile.
That's not even me. Play the main event, well, don't you? Play the main event, yeah? No, man.
And
is it Murray?
Can we change our tactics?
Is it Murray?
What we need to change them to? That is the question.
Dan, do you know what? All I saw when Arsenal beat us was people going on shows and saying things like, Arsenal was scared. Arsenal bottled it. Arsenal had to go defensive because they knew we were better than them. Listen, Arteta got the win. Sometimes you have to win.
That's Man United Alex Ferguson all day long, bruv.
Exactly.
That's Alex Ferguson all day long. The way they played against us was Alex Ferguson, classic Alex Ferguson, Man United all day long. You get what I'm saying?
Listen, that's where you've got to know when to attack and when to defend and also have a plan B. It's all good beating West Ham 4-1. We're all happy. But that's because they just...
A lot of our fans think we can just attack all game, every game.
We are the easiest fans, like we've said before, to keep satisfied. And Levy knows it as well. As long as he's got a manager that's going to keep kicking the ball forward as such, you're going to have more than half that fan base turn around and say, but we're playing attacking football, so I'm happy. Even if we get beaten 3-1 or lose games 3-2 when we're up 2-0. And that's just how you keep a lot of Spurs fans happy. Kick the ball forward and a lot of them will be quiet.
I think the problem is, today, you celebrate the victory. Right? I'm talking about the very few in the chat, but definitely Twitter, X, right? You celebrate the victory. You celebrate the 3 points. We beat, you consider them a big London rival or not. We beat the Spammers. Okay. The problem with our fan base is that they exaggerate, right? It can't just be, okay, it's a good 3 points.
Yeah.
We're going to win the league. We're going to be top 4. Definite. This is what I'm hearing, on post-game shows. We're definitely getting top 4. We're definitely doing this. We're definitely doing that. I'm not saying not to dream, but have some balance. Let things play out. They over-exaggerate. They go over-embellish. This is where
the word definitely, Mari. It's the word definitely. Because if we definitely don't finish top 4 and you go, what happened? The excuses will be it's a rebuild. It's a new project. So if it is those things, like why don't any of our fans just say, do you know what? We finished 5th last year. The aim is to go one better. But you know what? If we finish 5th again, but have a really deep cup run as well, and you know what? And then we had a couple of top players in the January window and the summer window, we're happy. No, not our fans. We have to literally go. We played 8 games. We've already lost 3. Teams that win titles lose 3 games in a season. We've lost 3 in 8, and we've got fans that talk about, you know what? I think the title race is on. You know what? We're definitely top 4. Slow down. Look at the top 4. Look at the top 4. How many they've lost between them? Villa have lost 1. City have lost
1.
I
think they've lost 1.
City have lost 1. Villa have lost 1. Arsenal have lost 1. And Liverpool haven't lost a game of football. Right? Chelsea as well have lost 1 game of football, I believe.
Sava, Liverpool lost 1 to Forest. It's Man City who haven't lost a game yet.
Sorry. Yeah, that way round.
Oh, right.
See,
Yeah.
these teams lose 1 every 8 or 9 games. Spurs lose 3 and 8, and our fans go, Arsenal haven't lost 2, Swanix. That today was Arsenal's first defeat of the season.
Yeah. And then to hear
the
say, technically, if a few minor here and there, we wouldn't be top of the league. And I'm just like, wait.
It's delusional. It's
and I'm like,
listen.
And
If
I'm
people
like,
want to be silly,
I'm like, wait, hold up. Like,
bonkers.
I know you're excited about today's victory. Be excited. I'm happy, but keep it controlled. Don't go over. And everybody, apologies, receipts. I told you so, right? They'll tell you, oh, it's only 7 games, but then they want receipts for 7 games.
Mari,
You can have it too. Like it's consistency. Our fan base over embellish our team, our results, and I'm just like, calm down.
Mari, they're not going to calm down anyway. They're going to be the same thing. I've done this 4 years, man. So like in the day, it's the same old thing. You know what I mean? I've had it all day long. You know what I mean? Like I say, Mr. Box Office eats that up all day long now. I'm now zoned out. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Thank goodness someone's going to give me a vacation in a couple of weeks anyway. So don't really make it.
All right, watch today's We Are Tottenham.
Bro, big up to them anyway, because I love Ben, but like, at the same time, I know how it goes every single time.
You know what I mean? Lena Tools, that comment, sorry, is Spurs fan. Oh, that is a Spurs fan comment if I've ever read one. Lena Tools, look at that nonsense. Where you finish isn't the determinator of progress from last season. What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Then what is progress, for God's sake?
This is this Marcus, the Swedish Spanish fan? The Swedish Spurs fan. He came on the channel on Wednesday. It is you, yeah. Big up, by the way. Where you finish isn't the denominator of progress from last season. Well, no, it is, because hold on a minute. What are you measuring? How are you measuring progress then? How do you measure progress?
So, Lena, just if we get 1 more point than last season but finish 8th, are we saying, you know what? Fair play, Spurs. You got more points than last season, but you finished 3 places lower. Come on, mate. Of course, it's about where you finish to judge progression.
That's the reason why managers get the sack.
This is the same things that we do with Johnson, Werner. By the way, yeah, right. If we're saying that Werner's won Champions League, yeah, Perisic won multiple Champions League, by the way, and we let him go. So I'll have him all day long, every single day again. Why is it hindsight is such a beautiful thing being a Tottenham fan now these days? Why is it? Højbjerg, Lo Celso, the Argentinian Tom Carroll, and now bloody Perisic. What's going on here, man? What is going on here? Why am I wanting my players back rather than getting past players back than my players currently now? What's going on here, man? You know what I mean?
Alex, we're gonna come on to a few players, but there's one thing I just do want to quickly cover before we get on to that, and that was there was one other thing that happened in the game, which was on the 83rd minute. From where I was sitting, it looked like there was a fracas that broke out. It looked like Van der Ven and Kudus had a bit of a one-on-one battle, which ended up in Kudus kind of kicking Van der Ven on the ground, making out he was kicking the ball. Van der Ven got up and reacted. Kudus shoved him, at which point that is what is deemed as a red card nowadays. Richarlison ran over, barged one of the players, then went down holding his face. Proper theatrics, shithousery from Richarlison. Bit more pushing and subbing. It was a yellow card given, but then VAR stepped in and it was deemed as a red card, and Kudus got sent off, having twice kicked Van der Ven, then shoved him in the face. So for me, 1 minute, I'm gonna come to it. So 3 things I want to ask you. Number 1, do you agree it was a red card? Number 2, what do you think of this new thing that they're doing now, where on the scoreboard they actually give you the VAR explanation as to what's going on, so fans now know what's going on, even though the explanation comes 10 minutes after the incident, right? It doesn't come at the moment. You get the explanation 10 minutes after. And the third thing is something I noticed when all the players bunched up and there was this fight and pushing, kicking off, I noticed something, and it just kind of made me realize something's not right. Timo Werner was the only player in the whole incident that walked away from it and just distanced himself. And he did that. If you go back and watch the game, guys, watch. He walked away, heads down, didn't want to know. And that happened throughout the whole incident. And I thought to myself, 1 minute, you're not part of this team, mate. Your confidence is shot to pieces. And we're going to get onto Werner and the subs after this. So I just want to ask you 3 quick questions, guys. Do you agree it's a red card? What do you think of this new rule about putting the VAR decision up on the scoreboards so people can read what's going on? And what do you make of that Werner incident?
Right.
Yeah, Dan, you go first, then we'll bring in Ian. By the way, welcome to the show, Ian.
I have to go. No, I have to go. I was just gonna say this, that that incident is actually 2 incidents. He may get more than 3 games because the whole SAR situation is another incident. So he might get 6 games. Oh, Kudus.
I don't know about that, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
we'll find out. We'll find out when it goes to the FA if they want to. If they want to, I don't know if there's a. In fact, I don't know the rule on this, so I'm not going to speak. We'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was definitely a red card.
Murray, take care, bro. Take care.
See you later, mate. It was definitely a red card for the 2 kicks, let alone the push in the face. Now, even though I don't like the players going down the way they do. I mean, if someone just pushed you in the face like that in the pub, would you go down like a sack of shit like that? No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to do it with 10 million people around the world watching me. I just personally wouldn't be able to do that, yeah? But you do what you got to do for the team at times. But that was definitely a red card. I like the point of VAR putting their thing on there, whether they've got it right or wrong, at least people have a clue. 2 points I'll make with Werner. Yeah, all right. He don't like a fight, he steps out of it. But if I'm now going to look on this from a tactical side, and I said this on my show earlier, if I see that my mate, player, is squaring up with this other fella, and this other player is about to bang him in the face, I ain't getting in the middle of it. I want the other player to hit him. Why? Because the other player gets a red card. Now we got a 1-man up. I've seen too many times that a player's gone to raise his hand, and one of our players, or it happens with a lot of teams, gets in the middle and stops it happening. Let the player slap him in the face. He's a man. I'm sure he can take a backhand. And then we're a player up. But I do see it get split up a lot. But then that's just my tactics. I mean, you ain't going to get a broken nose out of it or nothing like that. It's just like a little push in the face you get. But that's a red card for it. So I'd just sit back and let it happen, basically.
He could have been given reds on 3 occasions there in that incident, in that whole fracas. First of all, for kicking Van der Ven. Secondly, for pushing him in the face. And then thirdly, for pushing Sarr in the face. And evidently, I saw in further reports saying that he's thrown his head back into Richarlison. So I'm not sure about that.
Ian's increasing his ban to 15 games here.
They won't be able to.
He's out for the season. West Ham are going down. He's missing the season.
So everyone agrees it was a red. Everyone agrees it was a red card.
100%. 100%.
It's just taking too long. It's just taking way too long. It's just like the referee was looking at it so long. I was like, "Come on!" But yeah,
can we say though on Dan's point? I mean, first of all, it is embarrassing seeing Van der Ven, who's 6'4", maybe 6'5", even going down, like holding his face as though like someone's properly giving him a dig. And then
we'd grill another player for it from another team, wouldn't we? We'd absolutely cuss them for it.
Hold on. Can I counter this? Look, sure. Richarlison's was a joke because he went and barged the West Ham player and then he bounced off him and held his face. It was comical. But what Van der Ven did was to ensure the red card. Is this not something we've criticised our players for not being intelligent? See you next Tuesdays for? Because when other players do it to us, we say we ain't got that in us. Because I've noticed with us, sometimes we praise other teams when they do it to us. We're like, why haven't we got that in us? When Van der Ven does it, isn't that us being a bit smart now here, Sava?
No, still, that's basically what I've just said. It's embarrassing for them to do it. You wouldn't go down that easy in the slap in the face in the pub with your wife or your missus or your mates next year. You'd be embarrassed. I would struggle doing that just out of, call it a stuck-up personality, whatever you want. I wouldn't be able to do it in front of my mates, let alone 10 million. But what I said to the rest of them was the fact that they almost get involved too much and stop something like that happening. When again, I feel you should just instead of getting in the middle of it, let the fella slap your mate in the face and get a red card for it. They're the rules.
I don't mind them going down, Dan. Like, I don't mind. Look,
It's the way they do it, isn't it?
For me, it's just embarrassing. It's a game for men, right? And you're right. If somebody walks up to you in the street and pushes my face like that, my first reaction isn't to fall on the floor. Obviously on the street, your first reaction is to swing, but you don't go down. Then to go down, stay down, rolling around like this. Look, I'm not taking away from Kudus. It was red all day long. But
yeah,
Van der Ven and Richarlison going down like that, for me, just shows why football is now, it's lost that physical element. Everyone
without a doubt.
Someone flicked them in the face and they're going down. Oh, no. I'm embarrassed by it.
It's pathetic.
I struggle to watch it. I struggle to agree.
Yeah,
I can see why they did it, and I can make them right for why they're doing it because they're just bending the laws in their favour. But me personally, God, some of the ways when I used to play football and that, you get your ankles taken out or your kneecaps kicked out or whatever, or smack in the mouth. You just got up and carried on with it, basically. And this was even still double heavy. These days, flick and they're down, isn't it?
What must people like Graham Roberts and Souness think about watching all of this nonsense? I mean, pathetic.
They laugh. They laugh.
They do. It is pathetic.
Not just Spurs fans, Ian.
No, everybody.
What we can't
all players do it.
Is when people go, oh, all the foreign players dive. Oh,
that's
this
how
team,
it started, didn't
their
it?
player dives. Fine, so do ours, right? I just find the whole football thing embarrassing now. I think they're not men, are they? It's not a man's game.
Not. It's all changed. The whole thing's changed.
Well, can you imagine any of these playing against a Roy Keane?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or a Patrick Vieira. Or Gattuso, someone like that.
I think because they know VAR's there now, they play to the cameras as well, looking to get VAR to give them a reason and whatnot. And
you know what's surprising?
I'll
tell you what's surprising still is that with all the cameras there, you know, more focused than ever before. What's surprising is that players still dive. Because to me, that's sacrosanct. You never ever dived. You never, when I played, you never stayed down. You got a kick to stay down, show weakness. Today, it's the reverse. It's mad. It's just gone. You know, you just didn't stay down. And you know, the players today still dive. They don't give a shit if they're accused of cheating. I mean, you just didn't want to be shown up and embarrassed like that.
And if you did stay down, your own mate would come up and slap you in the face and say, "Get up, you pussy," wouldn't he?
Yeah, of course.
But that's different times, isn't it? Different generations, different football.
I think now as well, have you noticed how many red cards there are every weekend? Like, I think for me, look, first of all, forget Spurs now, just for 1 minute, guys. But if I'm watching football as a football fan, I hate seeing games where a team goes down to 10 men because it completely changes. Like, I know we can laugh at Arsenal, they had a man sent off. As a football fan watching a game, the moment that red card, I'm like, oh, this has just changed the complexion of the game now. I'm now not enjoying it as a spectacle because one team's just going to put 10 behind the ball. I think the rules need to change, that we stop making it so easy to send people off. You had Philogene. Did anyone see the red card for Jaden Philogene today?
Oh, I saw it, yeah.
Second yellow. It was minimal contact. Second yellow off, and it's like,
Sav, don't you start with the yellows? Do you not start with the yellows because the whole thing now?
Yes.
You know, the whole thing's pathetic. Starting with players taking their shirts off and getting a yellow.
Yeah.
To a first foul, you know, used to be 3 or 4 fouls, and then somebody would be booked for ungentlemanly persistent infringement of the rules.
Yeah.
And you know, 3 or 4 fouls, you got a booking. Now the whole thing is so cheap. You know, you get a yellow for anything, and it's killing entertainment. Tickets, seat prices are more than ever before. You know, people are spending a lot of money to go out and be entertained, and there's no thought for the fans. They're trying to sanitize the game, and this is not a perfect game. It never has been a perfect game, but they're trying to wreck it. You know, we're sort of moving into IFAB conversation now, aren't we? You know, where the referees are are killing the game with the changes of all the laws. Yeah, the laws.
Wait till AI comes in. Wait till AI comes in.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's killing it.
The one I don't like, the yellow card you get, is when a player puts his foot on top of the ball and the ball's already going in momentum and his foot comes off it with the ball and goes on the other player's ankle or foot. I don't blame the yeah. I don't blame that on the player at all. I mean, you're basically going with the momentum of movement.
Yeah,
I don't blame the players for that, and I don't even agree on that being a yellow card, let alone a red card.
Yeah,
That's just really. I really don't
tackles, referees' decisions. Ian, you'll know this. Stel, we're all of age here. We're all of age. Alex being the youngest, I reckon. It used to be done on the referee's common sense of a situation.
Yeah.
Now the problem is every single decision is made by the letter of the law, which doesn't take into account real life situations. Now, I'm not going to sit here and back Arsenal, right? But I watched that game today and the sending off of Saliba. Now, it's a silly foul. He's 50 yards from goal. Ben White is running back at the same level as those guys. For me, the common sense tells you, and forget it's Arsenal. It's funny it's Arsenal, but I'm just using that as a real world example today. For me, the referee goes, well, look, Ben White's coming around. He's 50 yards from goal. He's not 20 yards out with a shot. Yellow card, boom. But now everything is, well, by the letter of the law, red, yellow. It's like, it's killing the game. It's killing the game now. Completely.
The other thing also, Sav, just to tie on the back of what Dan's just said, we're always taught if you don't go in 100%, then there is a big risk of getting your leg broken. You know, you dangle your foot in to stop yourself going forward with momentum and catching the player after you've got the ball. You end up injured. This is where these referees who don't play the game don't understand the game. And, you know, to start booking players because they carried through and accidentally caught another player, it happened all the time when I played. Every single match, you know, someone will get hurt. You never got a bad injury. You got a knock, but that was it.
Yeah, but guys, 9 times out of 10, someone would come off hurt, wouldn't they? Like you get a bang in the shins or whatever, and you just got on with it, wouldn't it?
You got on with it, Dan. That's right. You know, and in those days, players wore proper shin pads that went up to just below the knee, not these stupid
consistency. That is the other problem we have with refs. Consistency, right? We're all good to say, right, those are the rules. If that's the rules and he gets sent off, then he needs to get sent off for it. But then if we want to see the ref just using a bit of common sense, then we need all those refs to make the same common sense on the same situations. That's not going to happen. So you basically need them all to abide by the rules, and they don't even do that. They don't even get that right half the time. It's a proper catch-22 situation.
The game's gone soft. Tackling's been taken out of the game completely.
Yeah. Ian, I want to change the subject because there is one other thing I want us to talk about before I wrap up the show. I've missed a couple of super chats, by the way, so apologies, Soulboy, who said, Sava, please, no one hates Madison. This was about half an hour ago, that conversation. Sorry, Soulboy, I missed it.
Not quite
Sava,
true. I saw it in my chat a lot earlier. I'm sorry. When people keep saying, no one said this, you've not read this. I had a channel earlier, and at one point I had 1,000 people in the chat. And the hate for Madison, the hate for this, the hate for that, title talk, it's all there. It's all there. I'm not making it up.
Yeah, people do. Listen, I heard it in the stadium today. Also, Ethan Bates, you said, I mentioned on Savage Channel, but at what point does the rebuild end? It's only Werner and Davies that fans collectively agree aren't good enough. I'm going to come on to these players now, Ethan, and I'm glad Ian's on the show because I do have a big criticism of Ange today. And this is my only criticism I've got of him. We were 4-1 up, game done and dusted when Son scored the 4th goal. There's now 30 minutes plus stoppage time. So let's say there's 30 minutes of Premier League football to play. We are winning this game. It's done. And this is what Ange did. And I want to discuss it with all you guys. It took until the 70th minute for him to take off Heung-min Son, and he chose to bring on Timo Werner. On the 81st minute, he took off Solanke for Richarlison and Bissouma for Bentancur. And with about 5 minutes to go, he takes off Udogie and brings on Gray. Right, guys, why is Mikey Moore not getting 30 minutes instead of bloody Werner? Why is Bergvall not getting 30 minutes instead of Bentancur, who we don't need to bring on? Why is Lancashire not coming on? Why must Richie come on instead? And Ian, this one specifically to you. What's the point of bringing Gray on for 5 minutes and yet again he doesn't come on as the number 6? Further proof to me that he's going to be a wing back for Spurs. None of the kids got a chance. None of these new signings we've made in the summer came on. We are freaking 4-1 up with 30 minutes to go. What is the point of this? At what point is he going to bring these kids on? Because that was the perfect stage. You're at home. The momentum's with you. Positive energy in the stands. Everyone's loving it. Bring the kids on. This is a chance. He brings on Timo Werner, who was bloody awful. He brings on Bentancur for what? He brings on Gray for 5 minutes for what? Guys, what did you make of that? Because for me, and a lot of fans in the stadium, they were really pissed off with this, especially the Werner one. And Mikey Moore not playing. Ian, you can go first on this one because I know you're going to have plenty to say.
Yeah, no, I for both reasons. Number one, we've got a lot of games coming up in a short period of time between now and the next international break. Is it 7 in 3.5 weeks or something? And so from that point of view, rest players, give them a break. Sonny didn't need to play 70, 60 was fine. He's done his job. He's had a blistering 15 minutes second half. Finish the game. Done. Game's done. Finished. Bring on Mikey Moore. Give him half an hour. The reason, and I said this, I think, on Dan's show earlier, is that he's going to play Mikey Moore Thursday. I'm just looking at Angie's logic. I don't agree with it. I'd have put Moore straight on, but I think Angie's thinking was that Werner needs a bit of confidence because his confidence is shot to shreds, and whether we like it or not, he's in the squad between now and the end of the season. So Angie's got to get a tune out of him. So he's trying to get, you're 4-1 up. West Ham are finished. They're gone. Their heads are gone. They're leaving wide open spaces all over. I mean, they've gone backwards since they got rid of Moyes. And I think he probably thought, let's get Werner on. Maybe he can have an assist or a goal. Defenders are getting tired. It's tailor-made for him to come on and do something. That's the only logical way I can get myself inside Angie's head and think what he was doing. That's Mikey Moore. As far as it's funny, as you mentioned about Archie Gray, I don't even think he'd have been in the squad if Spence hadn't have been fit. I think Spence would. I think Spence is the left-sided replacement at the moment. I thought Gray did fine. He came on, he played 10 minutes. He did all right. It doesn't hurt. For any of these kids to get first team experience, I think is good. It can't be a negative, particularly you're 4-1 up. I thought he looked assured. Didn't have to, listen, he hasn't got much time to do much, but he looked assured with what he did. Bergvall, yes, could have come on. He left Kulu on for the whole game, who I thought was absolutely magnificent today. I mean, he's just getting better and better, isn't he, at the moment? Would I have played the kids? Definitely. I would have made the changes.
You said, there's no negative to it. To me, there is a negative to it. My negative would be, now, I don't think he should have brought on all the kids, but Gray and Mikey Moore, I think he should have definitely brought on 70 minutes at least, yeah? Now, just looking at it from my side, if I was Archie Gray, I would be pissed right now that my manager only sees me good enough, even though they paid 40 million for me, to come on with 2 minutes left of the fucking game and maybe 5 minutes injury time. For me personally, that would have the effect on me that this manager really don't rate me. This manager can't think much of me when he brings him on with bloody 2 minutes left. Surely that's going to have a mental negative effect.
Well, I think he'll start Thursday.
Or can.
I think it could do, Dan, but I think he'll start Thursday.
What position?
I think he will.
What position?
It won't be midfield.
It won't be. No, you're right. It won't be midfield because he's alternating between Bentancur and Basuma, isn't he, for that 6?
And Pape
who came on. Then I'll go back to my original point. Then why buy Archie Gray?
No,
this will always come back to this. Then why buy him?
Yeah.
Why buy him?
Sad. I'll go a step further. If kids are available that are going to have a big impact, listen, I'm not clairvoyant. I'm very confident. I think Gray looks the real deal, and I think Bergvall is as well. And I think they will be great for Spurs over the next few years. The criticism of the transfer wasn't buying those players, and I think we've got to get this 40 million. We've got to get the money side out of our heads. We are fans. No, we are fans. We are not accountants. We are fans, and we don't run the club. And I've got to tell you something.
I disagree.
I
disagree. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Hang on. I'm a shareholder. I'm a shareholder. If you're worried about the money for the shareholders, let me tell you, I've never had a penny in 20 years as a shareholder out of this club. So it's not done for the shareholders. I don't give a shit what they spend on players, whether it's 5 million or 100 million, as long as the players they're buying are right for Spurs. And if they're not right for this season, but they're going to be right for next season, then fantastic. And I'd rather have top kids in the reserves or just getting a few minutes each game for this season if they're going to come through for next season.
Can I answer?
But
by your theory,
but the problem was they didn't buy proper, more established players. They only bought Solanke. That was the problem.
Yeah,
but you're negating your own point. This is the problem, Ian. You're negating your own point. Listen to what you're saying, right? First and foremost, by your reckoning, it means that Spurs are never actually trying to do anything for the season we're in. We're always looking seasons ahead. Because by your reckoning, if next summer we go and buy another 40 million 18-year-old and go, don't worry, he's not for now, he's for next year. That 40 million, we're not accountants, but that 40 million could have been plugged into a seasoned pro that's ready to play now. Now, again, I need to make this really clear for everyone watching because I'm not knocking Archie Gray. I don't know how good Archie Gray is because the manager doesn't play him, so he can't be that good, right? He can't be that good because the manager.
Do you trust Angie's judgment, Sam?
No.
Do you trust his judgment?
No. So
there you go.
Yeah, okay, but Ian, the point is that we keep going back to this. Spurs are in a position where we've got 4 tournaments this year, right? We're in a position where we've got 3 senior centre-halves at the football club. 3, right? We've got 1 proper recognised left-back in Udogie and then Reguilon, who's nowhere to be seen near a squad, right? We've got 1 right-back in Porro and the other right-back, Spence, isn't even in the European squad. We've got areas of the pitch that 40 million could have gone and bought a ready-made player that rocks up on a European night. You swap out a player and go, right, Van der Ven, you come off. Here's a ready-made £40 million player, good to go. But what we're doing is going, like you're saying, Archie Gray is the real deal.
Let me spin it, Sav.
Hang on. I want to know from this. I hear you say this all the time. Archie Gray, Bergvall, the real deal. Based on what? On what are these opinions based on?
How big a club are we?
No. Can you answer my question first, though, Ian?
No. I'm answering you. This is my answer. My answer is we are financially a very big club.
Yes.
I don't think anybody can argue with that.
Of course.
True.
Our net spend this summer was 32 million.
Sure, I know all this.
That is peanuts for this club.
Yes.
Absolute peanuts. That is where my anger is aimed at. Not the fact. Listen, you've got
that's
a point.
Not the conversation.
No,
that's not the debate, is it?
Right.
That's a tangent.
No. What you've said. Hang on a sec. What you've said. If you're saying we've got no money and we shouldn't be spending 40 million on Archie Gray, that's fair enough. But we do have money and they just choose not to spend it. And that's the problem. Not the fact that they bought decent kids. The fact is they're not spending the money, Sav.
Yeah, but Ian, that's a red herring. The point is, whether or not I think we should be spending more money is irrelevant. The fact is, with the money that we've been given as a budget to spend, right, whether or not we agree with that amount, and there should be more, we agree on that. But the fact is, with the budget that was given to the manager and to the club,
we spent less than the budget. We spent less than the budget.
Okay. But Ian, either way, we decided that the second biggest signing of the summer was going to be an 18-year-old that fans are hoping comes good. And again, you didn't answer my question. I want an answer to this question. I keep seeing fans like you and others keep saying Bergvall and Gray are the real deal. These boys are ready. They're top quality. You had that conversation with Dan. I've seen it over and over again about 10 minutes to go in a cup final. Who you bringing on, Højbjerg or Gray? You keep going, Gray, he's ready. He's not even coming on when we're 4-1 up with 20 minutes to go in a Premier League game.
And that's down to the manager. That's not down to him or his lack of ability.
Guys,
that's down
no
to
one
the
blames
manager's
him.
Right.
Hang on,
everyone.
Question.
No, I'm gonna get you an answer. Sam, I'm gonna get you an answer. Right, everyone, just as a host, let me just step in here because I'm listening to this and we're going around in circles every week. Ian, I'm gonna put this to you exactly what Sam has said in a different way, with exactly the same way with different wording. If we know that the budget is only going to be a net spend of 32 million, we know that's all we're allowed to do and spend. Why have we spent it on a player who isn't going to play now when we could have spent that on a player that does play now and impact us? Hence the question, what was the point of Archie Gray, given not what we should have spent, what we were going to spend? That's the question.
Yeah, but hang on. But my that was part of the question still. I still want Ian to answer the question. He keeps coming out with the statement. Gray is ready. You keep saying Gray is ready. Gray
I want to see him thrown in for 6 or 8 games at our number 6. That's what I want to see Ange do.
But Ian, please, can you answer the question that I'm asking? You made the statement over and over again. Gray is ready. This boy's very good. So is Bergvall. Based on what?
What I've seen with my eyes. That's my opinion based on what I've seen Gray do. In the little bits and pieces that I've seen him play, I think he looks a very assured player.
When? This season?
This season, what I've seen. I didn't see him play for Leeds. I went on hearsay.
In which game? Can I ask which game he looked assured?
All the bits and pieces. Well, even today, I thought he looked very good today. He had one situation in the box. I thought he did. I thought he dealt with that brilliantly. The kid's 18. He's not a seasoned professional at 25. He looks the real deal.
I don't know what you're watching. I don't think he looks the real deal in any way. He came on. He gave the ball away twice with the first 4 touches he had.
Once.
No, he didn't. He keeps giving the ball away at a rate of knots.
He keeps giving the ball away.
And at the end of every time he makes a cameo, people go, he is the real deal. What's he good at? What is it that you're seeing?
Have you ever played
of Southampton? I watch him. He looks very good, assured on the ball, comfortable, dribbling with it. I watch Gray. He looks scared. He looks like a little boy.
Not at all. Listen. Me and you've got to agree to. We got to agree to disagree until he gets a proper run and he gets a run of games. Because I think we all agree that a player has to have several games on the spin to get match fit, to get in the groove. You know, you can't keep chucking players in.
Ian, do you agree? Ian, do you agree to this then? Do you agree that your thinking on Archie Gray is purely your personal opinion and no evidence to back it up? Do you agree to that then?
When you say evidence, listen, I've seen what I've seen him on the pitch.
No, evidence is in metrics, data, stats, something to back it up other than your
We've never seen it in the league, so...
Dietrich, I just want Ian to say, like, do you agree then that this is just purely your opinion?
My
opinion, can't have any data
Dan is laughing.
When I look at a player...
I'm staying out of this one.
When I look at a player still, I look at how they are on the ball, their movements, how comfortable they are, their control, all sorts of... and how confident they are moving with the ball. You know, you look at someone like Lamela. Lamela was frenetic. It was chaos.
Archie Gray got roasted against Ferencváros, a B team European.
This is what I mean. In which game was he comfortable on the ball, moving with the ball? He got roasted by Carabao, roasted by Ferencváros.
So
when's he been good?
We have got to disagree on Archie Gray at the moment. We obviously do.
Do you agree then?
All right.
Do you agree?
I like the player.
But I'm not giving a hard and fast opinion on him, Ian. I'm saying we don't see him. You're saying he's the real deal. To say a player is the real deal when the manager doesn't even think this player is worthy at 4-1 to come on and play. And then when he does bring him in, can't even play him in
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. And Stell just came out and said the one thing that made him angry was the one thing that Ange did today was not give the kids a chance. And I think you said that to me on text earlier this evening.
Yeah.
So you agree with me that Archie Gray, Mikey Moore should have been given 30 minutes today, 20 minutes today.
Yeah, 100%.
To go out and show, to me, he is a 6. We don't have a 6 at the club.
Sure.
We don't have one.
Sure.
We do.
But he's like 7th choice midfielder. So you're saying the real deal. Our manager doesn't even trust him to play midfield at 4-1 up.
Well,
so
I don't trust Ange's opinion. Ange could have had Kudus and said no and went for Johnson instead that last summer. So
true,
you know what I mean? To me,
so to be fair to Ian, he is calling out the manager here then, which is fair enough.
I agree, but all I'm saying is whenever I've watched Archie Gray, now whether or not this is harsh because he's being played out of position, I don't see this guy that's comfortable on the ball like Ian says. His positional sense is woeful. Yeah, when Archie Gray looks good is when we're playing those teams, like in the friendlies, when we played the really poor teams in the friendlies and he played at centre-back and the other team didn't press and he can bring it out, he looked wonderful. Anytime we played a decent team in pre-season and he had pressure on him, he looked awful. And he's 18. He shouldn't be at this football club. He should be on loan. And my issue is that 40 million, it's not about me being an accountant. That 40 million could have bought a ready-made footballer that comes in, plays, and is ready to go. But again, we're talking about next season. Well, how's he going to be ready next season if he can't even get on at 4-1 up this season? I don't know what's going to suddenly happen. Surely he should be out on loan playing games, shouldn't he?
No, he should be playing, coming on after 55, 60 minutes today. That's what he should be doing.
Who's he better than? I agree, but who's he better than? Because he's not better than Basuma and Bentancur. He's not better than Papa Sarr, Madison or Kulu. Who is this guy meant to be coming on instead?
I would play him.
He's better than Sarr.
Neither Basuma or Bentancur are 6s. They're both 8s.
Sure, but they're seasoned pros, aren't they? You're not going to start Archie Gray instead of them, are you?
I'm not talking about whether they're seasoned pros or not. That's not the comparison I'm making. He is a 6. Now, Eddie Howe played Lewis Miley last year. Okay, he had a few injuries, but he turned around and someone said, how come you're playing a 17-year-old? You could put other professionals into that position. And he turned around and said, I'm putting a round peg in a round hole. Now, Ange doesn't do that. He plays an 8 at 6.
Yeah, but now he doesn't play.
Got options. Eddie Howe didn't have any fit midfielders at the football club. That's why Miley came straight in.
The point I'm making, Sav, is that Eddie Howe put a round peg in a round hole. Ange doesn't do that. He has
no option, Ian. Ian, it's okay.
He has an option.
Ange has a
choice. He has a choice. Every match. Every choice. He has a choice. He can play Archie Gray as 6, or he can play Basuma as a 6, or he can play Bentancur as a 6.
Right.
Because that's his choice. Sarr doesn't play as a 6. Sarr plays as an 8. So they're the 3 choices. He chooses to pick 2 seasoned professionals who are 8s in a wrong position again.
So what does that tell you about Archie Gray then? If it tells you play that position.
No, it tells you something about the manager.
Ian. Right, I just want to drop one more thing. Then I want to bring Dietrich's in because he hasn't spoken yet.
Okay.
Before you came on, Ian, a lot of people in the chat were saying how we should praise Ange for his tactics because taking off Madison, bringing on Pape Sarr, playing with 2-6 changed the game and allowed us to win 4-1. There is some element of truth in that we can't just ignore. That might not be the case. Okay, the fact the manager has chosen Pape Sarr to come on to change the game ahead of Archie Gray, surely that is telling in that number 6 role that the manager believes that Pape Sarr, forget Basuma and Bentancur, but even Pape Sarr's better than Gray in that role, and we won the game with that tactical sub. That's
obviously what he thinks.
Yeah, but he's been proven right today. So does that not suggest that Archie Gray isn't this wow superstar, amazing number 6 when there's better players at the club than him, and that he's not quite ready for that role? Is that not an argument there, just on what we saw Ange do today, that led to the win?
I think the big problem here is that Ange doesn't want to play kids. That's the big problem.
But he talks about a youth system that we're doing.
He can talk. He talks a load of shit, Dan.
He does.
So Ian,
I agree.
Wait, hold on, Ian, you've just answered your question. So this has answered the question that where this whole debate started from. If Ange doesn't want to play kids, it was a waste of time buying Archie Gray. That was the question.
And why did he pick him?
And the Korean.
Then why did he pick him?
But that was the question, wasn't it? That was the question. It was a waste of time buying him then. If Ange doesn't want to play kids, then he has wasted the time of buying him.
Still, what's even more worrying is even when we get to the Europa League games, right? You're thinking, all right, Europa League games, Basuma and Bentancur can both sit this game out. Archie Gray can play at home to Karabag or Ferencvaros. Even then, he's not trusted in midfield. Why? And I tell you why, and I agree with Ange on this one, as much as I berate Ange for things, because Ange is probably seeing the same things I'm seeing. He looks like a timid young kid when he's got the ball. Today,
I disagree. So
you could disagree.
We're going
the game against Ferencvaros. The game against Ferencvaros.
I've got to tell you something. They doubled up. Everybody on here was turning around saying about Johnson not tracking back. I think Stell pulled some things for the Brighton thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gray had no help. He had no help at the Ferencvaros game. Now, if you're 2 against 1, that one's going to have big problems.
I'm not just talking about his defensive. I'm talking about the whole thing. When Gray is on the ball, I don't see this really assured guy. That I see a guy nearly every time he gets it. Dan, we did a stream once. It was like, oh, he's giving it away again. He's giving it away. Simple 5-10 yard passes. Now, players give the ball away, yes, but if you're going to do that at a rate of knots, you can't do it in central midfield. That's why I don't think he's starting there. He is our 7th choice midfielder. So when we've got fans going, he's the real deal. This is hopes and feelings and dreams over any substance. There's nothing to say he's the real deal.
I think he looks a proper player. I think he's going to be terrific for us going forward. That's my opinion.
I hope you're right, but at the moment,
and I'm sad he'll be at the club a lot longer than this manager. I've got to tell you.
Yeah, of course.
Don't think there's any doubt about that.
When it's not most players, though, that's the problem.
Yeah, but when you spend 40 million
more than a year.
I don't know where he'll end up. For me, listen, all I'm saying is if he's this great youngster, bring him in, get him out on loan to a club at the top of the championship and say, we want him to be playing week in, week out. Because surely playing 90 minutes every week in the championship is more important than these 3-minute cameos in the end of dead rubber games where we're 4-1 up. Surely. Or playing him at left back, centre back. I don't see how he's growing. I don't see what the development is with him.
Do you want to play the same 11 players every single week and midweek as well? Or do you want to rotate?
But that's a straw man argument. Ian, that's a straw man argument. Because
guys, 1 minute. We've gone off the topic here. My question was 4-1 up, game done. The game's over. Why are these youngsters not coming on and instead an awful Werner who, okay, yes, we want to build up his confidence, but we're killing the development of our youth for a player that's going to bugger off at the end of the season.
Absolutely.
What is the manager doing? Why is he not bringing on the Greys? Why is Dragusing not even getting minutes, guys?
Because he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't trust the players. It goes back to what I said before. We're doing backups again, like I said before. So I don't see the point. Like I said, I don't do backups, and that's it. And I think what we're doing at the moment is we're hyping up these youngsters, like I said before, like we were doing with other players before that weren't good enough for our club again, and we're not actually thinking about how we're going to move it forward. You see what I'm saying? We're not doing any good for these kids' confidence, and that's it for me. You know what I mean? On the Timo Werner thing, like I said before, right? we are too forgiving, right? We're too forgiving, right? A big club don't play Werner, right? You know what I mean? They're playing Kid instead, and they say, Werner, sorry, mate, you're not doing it. You see what I'm saying? But for our manager, who I do blame him because it's all on him, and I don't care what anybody says. Oh, we don't know. Daniel Levy confirmed it, and Andrew said it as well. So he's done it as well, right? Is that, you know, when Werner's not doing what he's doing, and he's not showing that, and he's not competing with like Son, and Son goes straight back into the team, that shows me that we ain't got the squad to compete. You see what I'm saying? Because when Son was injured, what was the backup doing? He's the first team now, and that's it. You see what I'm saying? And the thing is, though, yeah, I blame Ange, and I blame Ange a lot on this. Why has he accepted Archie Gray, Bergvall, Mikey Moore in the squad? You don't accept these players in the squad if they don't think they're good enough. Because then I'm hearing people saying, "Oh, they're only 18, they're only 17." Sorry, it don't work.
Alex, then people have the audacity to say we've got a
bored of saying
squad
the same thing every single time, and that's it. I'm getting bored. You know what I mean? Because I'm saying the same thing every single week. That's why I can't do these videos anymore, because I'm getting bored every single week. It's like watching the Omulus of Emmerdale, you know what I mean? And that's it. Back to your still, I'm done. If you don't know, get to know. I'm ending up this crap.
Alex, start watching Game of Thrones, mate. It's much better.
Well, might as well, bro. You know what I mean? Maybe get a girlfriend as well. But anyway, moving on.
We're not going to talk about your love life on it. Not tonight, Alex. I want to bring Dietrich.
Khaleesi is pretty hot. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
Dietrich, go on. You can have your say. Sorry.
No, I was entertained. I was just listening to Sava and Ian. Like, it's always box office listening to those two argue against Archie Gray.
He always messages me, Dietrich, after the show and says, "I'm so sorry, Sava. I know you're right. I know you're right."
Wait, can I? Don't worry, because Ian made a bet with me that Solanke is going to score more than the Sun in the league this season. I can't wait to cash in that one, by the way, Ian, just to let you know.
No way you said that.
Well, listen, end of May, we'll see. But yeah, Dietrich, go for it.
No, I just said like, no, I'm just going to talk quickly about the game. Like, happy with the performance, 3 points, nothing to say, but obviously the main negative is the youngsters not getting enough minutes. And like I said to Ian many times, even on the group chat, spending 40 million on a player that's barely gonna see the pitch, I don't see the point. Like, it's like buying a new car and you leave it in the garage. Why have it? And for 40 million, I can honestly name you better players, and they could have made a big difference for us making top 4 and winning a trophy along the way. And I actually feel bad for Archie Gray, because I know he deserves better. I know he's a talent. Everyone speaks highly of him, but whoever told him to join Tottenham instead of Brentford he should be sacked, because he's not getting enough game time, and he's hindering his own career going this way.
He didn't have the option of Brentford. We put in the bigger offer, so they turned and dropped Brentford, and Spurs were his only option, basically.
Yeah, but
and
my only main issue is why did what's his name, Ange, say like, "Oh, I'm happy with Archie Gray, he's a big talent, but you don't give him enough, like 20 minutes a game." So why buy him?
3 minutes at the end is an insult to me, Dave.
No, it's an insult. I've always said, like, for me, if you don't give me more than 15 minutes, it's just an insult. Don't put me on the pitch. There's no point.
Quick question.
And he plays left back.
I want to ask you this question because I don't want to bring up Archie Gray anymore because it's dumb.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what do you think of Kulusevski? What's your honest opinion of him?
I was against Kulusevski in the past. I wanted him sold in the summer. But since Ange transformed it to a number 8, box to box, for me, he's been the best player at Tottenham. Easily. One of the best. I'm seeing more consistent, evolved his game, and we can finally say Ange improved the player, and that's Kulusevski. For me, I've been impressed.
He's not improved.
No. I know. There's still a long way of this season, but at the moment in time,
he's doing the same thing he's doing at Parma. He's doing the same thing he's doing.
Wasn't the best Kulu the one we had for 4 months under Conte when he first came?
No, I'm saying like, yeah, but that was like half a season. So, but I'm just basing off now. His all-around game is just phenomenal.
How is this? I don't get this.
No.
Phenomenal. I don't get this.
I'm not being reactionary. I'm actually really impressed with him. As a number 8, I'm really impressed.
I don't get it, bro. I really don't. I don't see a player that is like, wow.
I think Dietrich's meant good, and he just kind of.
No. I mean, okay. Actually, no. Wait. You know what?
Phenomenal. We're going with phenomenal.
No. Actually, you know what? Phenomenal. I'm going overboard. I think he's been really good. Phenomenal. I'm taking the piss. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dan.
Yeah.
I know you love the player. I know you love the player. Yeah, because I know you know your stuff about Italian football, but I just don't get it with Kulu. I just don't.
No. You cannot understand it. No. You cannot understand it. But like, if you look at him all around, he's pressing.
Bro,
he's passing. The way he keeps the ball. Like, I'm only asking like our midfielders to finally keep the ball, and he's doing that. So he's doing a good job.
One thing you can look on is a quality player out there who I'm sure everyone would say is one of the best footballers the world has ever seen, and that is Ronaldo. Yeah, do we agree on that?
Yeah.
What Ronaldo says on his interviews, that Kulusevski is actually the best, most satisfied number 10 he's ever played with at holding the ball for him and getting the ball to him. So it depends who he's playing with. Juventus played him on the wing for a long time and then cut him off because he just weren't getting it enough, basically. He weren't doing it consistently. And then they sussed out to put him at a 10. And he just went from there. He was very good. And then when they got Ronaldo, obviously you're going to get more goals even if me and you are sitting as a 10. But Ronaldo even bigged him up to say he's the best number 10 he's ever had behind him to hold the ball for him as a target man, basically. I'm only going by what Ronaldo said.
One thing I will say about Kulusevski.
No, I'm just... Sava, I agree. No,
we put them on these pedestals. Like,
no. Actually, I'm not going to put him.
A few games this season. I think there's been many games. I didn't see him do anything against Arsenal. I didn't see him do anything against.
But nobody did anything against Arsenal in those games.
Okay, but Dietrich's. But this is the point: to turn around and say a player's been phenomenal, but then acknowledge, well, he didn't do anything in that game. Why can't we say, do you know what? He's been good. But he's got to take it to the next level. It was more of a
figure of speech he was saying.
No, it's more figure of speech. Like, English is not my first language.
Cole Palmer does more for me.
But you cannot compare those two.
Cole Palmer does more. I'm sorry.
Alex, you can't compare them.
Cole Palmer's an attacking forward, Alex.
Cole Palmer ain't playing for us.
I see him on the pitch from Chelsea. I'm like sitting there saying, wow.
No, but that's an attack. That's a 10.
Alex, no, let's not do that.
No, Kulu's more of a box-to-box right now. He's more of an 8.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's more of an 8.
Oh,
yeah, he's more of an 8.
Come on, so
do you know
now
what? One thing
we can't judge him against Palmer because we're saying he's a box-to-box midfielder.
No, you cannot. Like, they're two different positions. One's playing center mid, the other one's playing attacking mid.
He's not.
One thing I'll say about Kulu.
What are we doing here?
One thing I'll say about Kulusevski this season. When you see the stats for midfielders this season in terms of
oh gosh, here we go.
Creativity, taking on a man, passing, all the attacking metrics you'd look at for a midfielder, Kulu is this season is in the top 3, I believe. So again, stats. Earlier. That's just stats.
That's
from
what I meant
statistical perspective. But you look, because we do use stats when it suits us. Let's be honest. We can't just dismiss it this time because there's an argument that maybe we don't like. But from a statistical perspective, Kulu is putting out the numbers. That can't be ignored. So he's definitely doing something good this season, without a doubt. We can't pretend that
if we were in the 90s, the 2000s, we wouldn't be saying this right now. I'm sorry. It's just I'm sorry. My eyes do not lie to me.
Yeah, they're lying to you, Alex. They're lying to you.
Lie to me about this player. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're lying to you.
I've watched this player at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I just do not get it. I'm sorry.
Alex, I personally thought Kulu. I loved him on the right when he came in with Bentancur for that half a season, and Spurs did very well, and we went from 9th to 4th under Conte. Last season, I thought Kulu was poor, very, very poor, and I thought, if they sell him in the summer, I wouldn't be heartbroken. This season, I think and he's just getting better and better every week. Now, you mentioned Cole Palmer. For me, he's the player of the season in the Premier League up to now. I think it's been absolutely phenomenal. But, we've had Chelsea play 7 games. We played 8. It's early days, very early days. But Cole Palmer, for the early days, for me, is the best player in the Premier League so
It's
far.
improved. It's just, I'm just
So
looking at it from
it's
I'm just looking at
unfair.
it differently. I'm just looking at the two players compare.
They're different players, Alex. Alex, they're
I know
different
that.
players.
I'm just saying. But the way that they were praising Kulu, I see it more with Cole Palmer at the moment, and I'm not saying because he's young. I have to caveat it. He's young because I said the same thing with other players.
That's because he scores a lot of goals, Alex. It's because he scores a lot of goals.
Yeah,
as well,
I think that's what I'm saying at the moment because.
But he's more forward than Kulu, isn't he?
He's got the physicality like a Dembele, but Dembele had something like an X factor about him. He had an X factor.
Yeah, but Dembele is a once in a lifetime player.
You know what I mean? X factor, something that was just.
You won't see another Dembele.
Dembele was a holding mid, though, wasn't he? Dembele was a holding mid, though, wasn't he?
But I just don't know what Kulu's all about for me. It's centre midfield. Yes, it suits him. Yes, good. But I'm sorry, Ange doesn't get credit for that because he's been telling him how many times it's his best position. So I'm not going to give him credit for that. Yeah, but the point I'm making
we're doing the thing again, though. We're doing the thing again. This guy, for me, I think has been poor for the last couple of years.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I agree.
I think he's had. I think this season. I'm not saying he's played badly. I think he's played well in patches. But again, he's the same as all the other players in the team. He's done well. But when things get hard, like last week against Brighton, second half, where was Kulu? When things got tough, Kulusevski was nowhere to be seen. And that's not just
Sava. They were all poor second half against Brighton, but at least Kulu kept going. He was the one player who kept going.
If I finish my point, I'll get there, right? The point is, I'm not singling out Kulu from that game, but we keep doing this with so many players. They do really well against the lesser teams, and we suddenly go, oh my God, they've been one of the best players in the league this season. The best players in the league do it every week against the better opposition. You watch Mateo Kovacic for Man City every week. That boy is brilliant in midfield. You watch Declan Rice for Arsenal, right? Declan Rice, he's in the thick of everything every week for Arsenal. You watch Cole Palmer, the thick of everything. Kulu, for me, he embodies Tottenham. He has spells where he looks very good and spells where I've got no. That's not saying he's a bad player. But again, what our fans hear is because I'm not praising him to a ridiculous level and putting him on a pedestal, it's, oh, you don't rate him. That's not what I said. He's playing well, but again, we're doing this thing. We did it last year with Udogie. We do it with we did it with Papa Sarr when he first came in the team. We put these players up there, and then they're not consistent, and then everyone goes, I can't believe what's happened to him. Well, you put him on a pedestal before he's actually done anything. He's had
I'm saying.
No, but you mentioned that. You mentioned those players. You mentioned those players. Rice, Kovacic, all these players. When I see those players, I see it. I see it because they show it every single week. Yeah. But when I'm seeing it with Kulu, I don't see it. I just do not see it. And people can say whatever they want in the chat. It's Mr. Bots-off if you really want to know, and that's it. But I don't care. You know what I mean? Because as I said before, my judgment is what I see, and that's it. And I'm sorry.
But what you see,
overhype this player so much. Because I'm sorry.
Okay, that's nonsense.
He ain't getting to top 6 club, bro. And Real Madrid, you're laughing if he's going to get near him, bro.
Alex. Okay, first of all, your eyes lie.
Who does he get into, Ian?
It's not lying, bro. Dietrich, it's not. But Dietrich, you can say whatever you want to me, but you can say I'm a delusion.
His stats. His stats. His stats.
Care about this guy.
His stats this year are good, are really good. But is he got wait. Progressive passes. He's doing his job. He's scoring. He's getting assists. Wait. No. I'm not done. I'm done.
Is he scoring and getting assists? I mean, is he really?
Yeah, he is.
Have you seen, before we say come out with these crazy things, right? If we're going to go with that again, Madison's output is better than Kulusevski's. Madison's getting berated. Kulu's one of the best midfielders in the league. So if you're going to go with stats and output, we've got to be consistent, right? Can't we say he's been good but needs to keep progressing rather than
that's what I was legit about to. No, they have the same output, first of all. And I was about to say, yes, at the moment he's playing well, but I'm going to judge him at the end of the year.
Of course.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Now.
No, I'm just saying he's been really good this year. No, at the moment. But is he going to keep it up? I don't know.
I think this is just the way it is with our team.
We don't learn. We put players on these pedestals so easily. Bentancur has one good game. We go, oh my God, he's one of the best 6s in the league. The
No,
next
he's not.
game, he's absolutely diabolical.
No, he's
And
not.
there's no
I'm sorry.
consistency with these
He's
players.
lost that composure. He's lost that aura at Juventus. He's lost it. He's lost it completely. You know what I mean? Again, I do.
My point, Alex. That's not my point.
I know, but you're saying. But for me, that's my point. My
Alex,
point
you're
is,
going overboard, man.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
He lost his aura. No, you're going overboard.
No, I'm
Dietrich, can I give you a stat? Can I give you a
Yes,
stat?
go ahead.
Right?
Yes, please.
Tottenham Hotspur this year, when we're talking about how great some of our players have played, Tottenham this year have beaten the team that are in 11th, the team that are in 13th, the team that are in 15th, and the team that are in 16th. We drew with the team in 14th. Tottenham Hotspur, these players, again, games like today, you go, Kulu, wow, really good. He bloody well should look good against this team. He should. Against Arsenal, where was he? Against Newcastle, where was he? Now, I'm not saying you could say that of all these players, but again, that is why let's wait until they do it consistently against the better teams before we talk about words like phenomenal. Like before we say he's been one of the best midfielders in the league this year. At what? At what? I don't see him in the big games doing anything.
Do you know what?
Judge these players, surely, in the big games.
That's more. No, I agree. We should judge him in the big games, but I cannot judge an individual in a big game because the whole team doesn't show up. Even the manager doesn't show up. So that's why I think it's a bit unfair to judge him in the big games.
I think this sums it up, but we're having this big debate about these players at the moment, especially Kulu, because he divides a lot of it. Like I say, I came with that question straight away because I just don't see it, and everyone was going over, and I just don't get it with it. I just do not get it. I don't get it with Bentancur either now, and yeah, I just don't like most of our midfielders as well. For me, I just don't. Well, nothing's changed. That's what I'm saying. Nothing's changed from what I've like the last statements I made.
Who does Kulu get into in the top four? If we look at the top four of the Premier League, which one of those teams does he get into?
None of them.
Well, would you say no? Would you say he gets?
I'd rather.
No, he gets in the Chelsea team.
No, he
the
doesn't.
Chelsea team.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he gets above Enzo.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't play in the same position as Enzo Fernandez, so that's not you. Again, we can't.
No, Palmer plays 10.
Huh?
Palmer plays as a 10 and Kulu plays as an 8. So he's gonna get above Enzo.
Playing as an Kulu and Madison are so high. This is
No. I'm just basing off of the no. He does play as an 8. He does.
I don't.
I've got to tell you so. We and you'll understand. Still and Sav, you'll understand what I'm saying. To me, this whole thing about a 6, 8, and a 10, it's a load of shit.
I agree.
Midfield,
I agree.
It's crap. You've got midfield players. Midfield players used to be box to box. You'd have someone that was better defending, someone that was better being creative, but they move together. They play as a unit. They go up together, attack together, defend together. All this 6, 8, and 10 splitting people up. It's crap. It's nonsense. You've got midfield players. You've got midfield players. Kulusevski, I would have in front of Thomas Partey every day of the week.
Oh,
every day of the week.
No.
Stop.
No.
Every day of the week.
Okay, now I disagree with you.
Ian, you want to know why I can't take your Archie Gray as the real deal talk? Thomas Partey has been one of the main midfielders in a team that's challenged for the title 2 years in a row. Kulusevski's moved inside, had 3 or 4 good games, and our fans go, I'll have him over Partey every day. What are we doing here?
Sorry, mate.
What are we doing here?
Sam, that's my opinion.
Fair enough. Fair point. If this is his opinion, because I've got
yes, but that's not how a football debate show works. I'm challenging the opinion based on what does Thomas Partey not get in above Kulusevski in a midfield? Thomas Partey is part of one of the best midfields in the country.
I think Rice and Odegaard are on a different level to Partey. They are.
I think Partey's definitely come down to what he was, but that's down to injury and age. If you want to use someone as a 6 and a DM, Partey walks all over him all day.
Yeah.
If you want to use someone as an 8 to push forward, then Kulusevski is better.
No, but even as an 8, you cannot. No, actually, I disagree with you.
6.
No, he's not a 6, but like even as a box to box, Partey is way better.
Yeah,
like, you cannot say that. Yeah, you can also.
You would think we
We
win
can say
leagues,
that.
cups, trophies.
No,
The
not
amount
at all.
we-
Who
no,
said
the
anything
amount
about
we
leagues? Trophies?
hype- The amount we hype these players who have achieved fuck all is embarrassing. Thomas Partey, I don't care whether he's as good as he was. Thomas Partey is part of a midfield that has been challenging for the title for 2 years solid. Kulu's played 5 or 6 games in central midfield this season, and we go, I'd have him over Partey all day long.
I'm talking about what I'm seeing this season. Not interested in the last 2 years. Last 2 years are gone. They're finished. Last 2 years ago, Sonny had so much more pace than what he's got now. So don't compare players now to 2 years ago.
So we're going off 5 or 6 games that he's played in central midfield.
So I have seen this season, I would rather have Kulusevski than Partey on this season's performances.
I don't know what we're doing here. This is why
it depends what style we're
don't
playing.
win fuck all.
Nothing to do with the teams, nothing to do with trophies. I'm talking about 2 individual players and their form this season. So let's not complicate it, Sav.
But they're 2 totally different players. I don't even think you can compare them in the aspects. They're 2 totally different players.
If you want to compare something, I'm just basing off this sample size. Declan Rice hasn't been good this season compared to last year.
I still have Declan Rice all day.
No, but I was still but wait. I wasn't done with my point. If we compare this year, Kulu has been better than Declan Rice, but I will still take it. Wait, I'm not done. But I will take Declan Rice over Kulu.
Based on what? Rice is part of an Arsenal team that have lost 1 game, which was today, 1 game. Right.
The only thing I can argue with what you're saying, Sav, is what have they actually won? What have Arsenal actually won with this magnificent team? What have Arsenal
exactly?
won?
That's a fair point.
Whoa, hang on, Dan. That's a completely different point. I didn't say Arsenal would win anything, but this is a team that week in, week out have been at the highest level for 2 solid years. Kulusevski comes in, plays 5 games, and the right nowism in us goes, I'd rather have him right now than Declan Rice or Thomas Partey. What are we doing? Even now, Arsenal are miles above us. What are we doing?
As a 6, not a chance. As a 10, all right, okay, Sabra, I'll ask you this one then, because I'm totally with you on what you're saying to an extent.
I agree.
If you're playing if you're playing with a DM, who would you have as your DM? Kulu or Partey?
I mean, I'm having Thomas Partey.
Right. If you're playing with a number 10 and not a DM, who do you have? Partey or Kulu? No, just answer the question. Just answer the question.
It's a completely moot point because Thomas Partey.
No, I'm making a point here. That's the point I'm making. So you'd have Kulu there over Partey, yeah?
But
so this whole thing is basically irrelevant. This whole thing's basically irrelevant because they're 2 total different positions, 2 total different players. So we can't really
agree,
compare
but
them.
We're
That's what I'm saying.
Dan, this is like whenever it comes round and we play Arsenal or Liverpool and our fans start doing this, let's do a combined 11. And we go, yeah, Romero's better than Saliba and Van der Ven's better than Gabriel and Ben White's not as good as Pedro Porro and Thomas Partey's not as good as him and Madison's not as... It's like, but what are we doing here? If these players were as good as our fans make out, why are we in such crap form for 12 months?
I agree. The only point I was making was you arguing about Kulu and Partey when they're not even the same fucking position, for God's sake. So you can't even compare them, really.
I didn't bring up that point. I just stating to everybody. Thomas Partey.
And Ian, I think you just got that wrong because you're talking about 2 players in a total different position. Like I said to Sava, as a 6, a DM, whatever you want to call it, Partey walks all over him, hands down 1,000,000%.
As a player,
as a number 10,
all over him.
Put it as a number 10, though. Kulu is more capable as a 10 than Partey all day long.
Right.
Ian wants to say something. Yeah.
2 different players.
Sav said, what top 6 team would Kulu get into? And I think he would, if you had a choice alongside Rice and Odegaard, I think Kulu, in his form this season, will do a better job for Arsenal than Partey.
I don't agree with that.
No, because Arsenal use him as a DM. That's the problem, and Kulu ain't a DM.
So
No,
a midfield that's challenged, Ian.
But then,
so a midfield that's challenged for the title for 2 years, suddenly Kulu's going to knock one of that three out of there.
So, but you're no, wait. So, wait.
Ago, was he?
So, if we had Kane, no, by your logic, Sava, if we had Kane right now, so Kane would not get in the Arsenal team then. By this logic, then, not over Havertz. Not based on your logic. Kane would not get on the team.
No, Dietrich, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this in a friendly way. Please don't make shit up like that. My logic at all. No, Dietrich, no. My logic has got nothing to do with Harry Kane and Kai Havertz. Harry Kane is a superior footballer to Kai Havertz. Kulu is not a superior football to Thomas Partey.
No, because right now you're saying because he's challenged for the league 2 seasons in a row, then by this definition he should be starting. I don't think that's a valid point.
What are we? I don't, do you know?
No, I'm just saying based on your opinion.
Every year we do this. Our players are better than everyone else's players. There's a reason.
I never said that.
Who said that?
No,
I
I'm
never
not saying
said
you said that. But there's a reason these players are at Tottenham Hotspur. There's a reason they're at Tottenham.
Yeah, agreed.
There's a reason they're not at Arsenal challenging for a title. There's a reason when we go, they're getting at City. There's a reason they're not at those football clubs because they're not good enough.
Kudu's been out for 3 seasons and no one's bidded for him.
Thank you.
We bought him. We bought him. So I don't understand where he's getting.
Guys, I'm going to help everyone here. I have to end the show. I've got bits to do tomorrow morning. We've gone 50 minutes longer than what I thought. I've just done a quick poll. Out of the hundreds watching, only 52 have voted, so it's a flash poll. 67 said Kulu, 33%.
Let's do a poll on a Spurs channel about Spurs and Arsenal players, and let's see which one wins.
There you go. I did a flash poll. Look, I want to say a big thank you to the super chats from Faz, from Ethan, from Soulboy, and Ethan again. Big up to you guys. Big up to Sava, Dan, to Ian, Alex, and Dietrich. I've put Sava's, Dan's, and Alex's links in the comments during the night. Make sure you go and like and subscribe to them. Sava, when are you next live? When's the show next time?
Monday, but debate Sava, the sort of thing where people like Lena who run their mouth in the chat, shit themselves, and don't turn up for. I'm on Debate Sava at 6 p.m. on Monday.
There you go. Go over to Sava's. Your chance to debate him. I would also invite, on behalf of Sava, Gary in the chat to go on there and debate Sava as well. Dan, when are you next on?
Hopefully Tuesday night, something like that, with my mate Dave on there, and basically just take it from there.
Always a good show with Dave. Ian, if you're free, you're probably going to be with us on Monday.
Yes, probably. I'm also with Brian Daigle on Wednesday on Evening Brews. So
check out Brian Daigle's channel as well. Tottenham on tour on Wednesday. Box office. When's your next spoiler alert blockbuster coming out?
Maybe videos at the moment. And I'll maybe have something special next couple of weeks or something like that. And that's it.
All right,
yeah.
if it's special, let us know. I'll promote for you. I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah.
An Alex special. Dietrich, well, you're just everywhere, aren't you? Wherever
I'm just everywhere.
Get access to.
I'm just everywhere. But honestly, it was a good debate. Good debate. Like, it's pretty hilarious, and hopefully we keep on winning. Simple.
At least it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Listen, it's all friends at the end of the day. We're next live tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. after Savage Show. Come check us out. Our weekly Monday show. We'll be discussing everything. Iggy will be on there. I think Lee and Maz are back. Mari, everyone. So JP, come and check it all out. Boys, thanks for tonight.
Cheers for having
Pleasure. I enjoyed it.
Everyone in the chat, have a good weekend. Spurs are winning. Come on, the Spurs, and we'll see you. By the way, we are going to be talking about Arsenal tomorrow on Tottenham away. Mark my words. I've been saving that for tomorrow. So. Up the Spurs.
Cheers.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. away. When we got Tottenham away.